go. I think we're live. Hello, everybody. I think we're live. Let's see.
Yep.
Are we?
Well,
Okay, sweet.
you're on Discord.
Good. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find the video. Boop, boop. I've got to open it. I don't see it. There it is. Cool. Uh-oh. Mute. All right, cool. Hey, everybody. We are live. So, we've got D and I don't recall. D Peterson and I don't recall. Merry Christmas, everybody. Merry Christmas, you guys on the panel. Merry Christmas. So, how's everybody's Christmas going so far? Aside, D's sick, unfortunately. I'm sick. But other than that, how's everybody's Christmas? How's your Christmas? I don't recall. Or D.
Well, mine's quite pleasant now.
Yeah?
Everything's dark and quiet, and I don't have much of a mess anymore.
Oh.
The dogs are awake.
It was good. I'm starting down to
Uh-oh. I couldn't understand anything she said. So, say that again, would you? I couldn't understand what she said. Merry Christmas, Cement Shoes. You are welcome to join us if you like. We're in Discord. If you want to join us.
I said it was good. I'm not sick, which I'm thankful for, and I'm sorry you two are. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I need to go out and come back in.
Okay, you sound a little better now. That sounds better. Okay, so what did I do? I just did something. Oh, okay, there we go. Cool. Well, yeah, I'm glad, D. I'm glad you're having a better Christmas, nice and quiet. So I just, oh, she's going to go out and come back in. So I just stayed home. Unfortunately, I was supposed to go over and help my stepmom make cookies, but I have not felt good for the last few days. So I never did go over and help her make cookies, and I have not gone over to, they made a little turkey, and, made some food like it's Thanksgiving or something for Christmas, but I really did not feel like eating anything still. So, yeah. So I just stayed home, and yeah, it's all nice and quiet. I just thought, well, I'm bored, that maybe other people are starting to wind down from Christmas too. Maybe want to chat or whatever. I saw last night, Jamie Sam William Henry 582. I saw him asking if anybody was going live last night, and I was like, not me. But I'm feeling a little bit better now, so figured I would and see how everybody's doing and how their Christmas is. We've just been, hi Kate, hi Allie in chat. I haven't felt well and stayed in alone today too. Oh no, man. Yeah, I don't recall. That's awesome that you're not sick. It sounds like a lot of people are sick. I know Jeremy is sick as well. Let's see, I can't remember what his name is in Discord, but yeah, he's been really sick too. So lots of people sounds like have been sick. So yeah, we weren't doing anything, and I don't recall said that she would like to hear my thoughts on the smokescreen interview with Brenda. So, how's everybody? What's that?
I said that'd be good.
Have you seen it, D?
No.
No? Oh, yeah. It was pretty interesting. It was good. I would love to talk to her myself again, but so I liked listening to her talk because I really have felt lately like she's putting spells on people. I know I keep saying that, but like there's something about her, and I think it's got a lot to do with just the fact that she's got all these documents and she's got more information than I think even we do. So, it's, you would think, yeah, she knows what she's talking about, definitely. Like I know she's very educated on the cases and stuff. I just still feel like she's cherry picking a little bit of some of the things and not looking at the big picture, which I think is the most important thing. I can't remember anything specific. If I go and look at the video, I left several comments there for her. Yeah, let me do that. Let me go find the video and see what comments I left, because that'll help me remember some of the specific things that she said. Let's see, there it is. Okay, let's see. Okay, so one of the things that she said was, like, what does Ertl mean by I can't process the scene because it's been altered? And so one of the comments I left was that my guess would be Sturtevant poking the bones with a stick, or I don't know, getting a rake involved before bothering to call him. The cops clearly altered the scene by playing in the burn pit. That's a pretty basic answer. Like, it's obvious that that was done, and that's part of why Stephen might have even stirred up some of that stuff. I mean, I don't know. Somebody stirred up the bones with the other stuff that was in the fire pit, which is how, we've always heard that the bones were intertwined with the tire wires and stuff. I've always believed that somebody stirred that stuff up. Now, whether it was Stephen or the person that planted it or the cops, like, I don't know who did that, but somebody clearly did. I had no doubt ever that there was, bones intertwined with the tire wires, even though we didn't really see a picture of it. I guess Brenda's got pictures of it that she showed to Christine, which is one of the biggest things she said changed her mind, made her, say, oh, I guess they did take some pictures of it. I don't know why they never showed it, but, So what do you guys think about that, about what Ertl meant by can't process this scene because it's been altered?
Well, I don't know what he meant by it, but I don't know why somebody would even say that. You can certainly process any scene, and even if it's been tampered with, you still have to process it. You just do so knowing that it was tampered, and you still try to, you gather as much information as is there, and that way you can go through the information later, even if it takes 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
You have to get as much as you can. To just give up processing something, that's just sloppy, lazy work, and that you're basically destroying whatever evidence is there. And I was watching some videos yesterday. I can't remember the channel I was on, but he was commenting on something to do with burn pit, and he was saying that they didn't actually find remains in the burn pit, that the remains were actually found in the Dassey burn barrels. I don't know if he meant all the remains or just specifically what he was talking about, but it made me think, like, do they actually have everything separated? Like, these suspected fragments of remains were from the pit, these suspected fragments of the remains were from whatever burn barrel, and I know that there was like a missing barrel, something that they misplaced or mislabeled or didn't track correctly.
And the 3 piles,
I don't know, it's just like
in the quarry.
The overall general problem with the whole case is that evidence was not tracked properly. Evidence was not was not like processed correctly, and it very much like if they weren't intentionally trying to screw it up, then what would be their state of mind for behaving like that? Except that, oh well, this is a Granada. We don't have to worry about this. We don't have to worry about having evidence. We're going to get a conviction. We just forget about following procedure and minding our P's and Q's. We'll just give up because conviction's a shoo-in. We already know what happened. Like that's the only possible explanation I can think of that would be logical and reasonable for them to like what state of mind could investigators be in, even just any of the cops on the scene, because that's the other thing too. If you're not a detective, if you're not the investigator in the case, that's who owns the crime scene. If you're a patrolman or a sergeant or anybody else, a deputy, doesn't matter. You are just doing what you're told, and the investigator, the detective, is who's on scene telling you what to do. You don't go into the crime scene. You don't touch anything unless they tell you to.
Right.
So I don't get any of this. Like, I can't. I've always tried to look at this case from the perspective that they're right, that what they said is true, but they have to get the evidence that proves it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. So how do they have a case? And everything that happened during the trial that the judges did just basically ran interference to allow them to get a case anyways. Like, a lot of this I don't even think should be admissible. I think that's the biggest problem with the defense is they didn't do a good job like getting the stuff thrown out. Even if the trial court allows it anyways, because they're in the county, right?
Yeah, for appeals,
You have to get it. You have to object to it and get it requested, so that when you go to appeals, they can say, like, yeah, the trial court erred. But if they didn't even request it, how can they make an appeal?
Right. I agree.
And that's why Zellner needs the ineffective assistance of counsel to make that point that they should have gotten that thrown out, and they didn't. And that's the reason why the appeal court should look at it. But again, what's the appeal court doing?
Yeah. Hi, Becca. Welcome. Merry Christmas.
Hi, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
How's your Christmas, ma'am?
Been okay. I slept in, and then I've been playing a computer game this whole time.
Oh, that's what Dee was doing when I first was like, anybody want to go live? He was playing a game. What are you playing?
I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3. I've heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard of that. It's probably great. I haven't played any good games lately, but I'm wearing my DJ Sona shirt. I don't know, like from League of Legends today, but I used to play games all the time. So we're talking about. Have you seen the interview with Smokescreen that they did with Brenda Schuler?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's
I had words with her on Facebook last night, though.
Oh, did you? What happened?
Mm-hmm. She posted in one of the groups that I'm in. Good. I commented on it.
What was she talking about?
I blocked her afterwards, so I can't go back and tell you exactly.
Oh.
But she posted some case file stuff that I guess she indicated that wasn't already out there.
You know what it was?
That she had? No, I didn't.
Oh, man. Because I've been wanting to talk to her and see if we could get some of the things that she has. Would she, see if she'd be willing to share with us? Because,
She probably won't talk to me, so.
Yeah. I doubt that she would want to, give it to me, but I wanted to ask her, would she give it to, Foul Play or something? Because, that's where all the information I think should be going right now is to them. But I wanted to talk to her about some other stuff too. But that was one of the things I wanted to ask her. Like, would she be willing to share? Because if having that information is changing people's minds, I would think that she'd want to share it. You know, hey, here's some more, information or more evidence that they're guilty, whatever. This shows that
Right.
they're guilty. There's some things that I'd like to see that probably would not do that, like just the trial footage. I guess she's got the trial footage. We've been trying, we've tried to get that forever. I remember, I want to say I asked the filmmakers, and I believe they told me they don't own that footage. And I don't remember who told me. It might have been Greaseback, maybe, told me that the court clerk or court reporter or something owns that footage or something. So you have to ask them. If I remember right. But J-Jax told me something different last night, so I might be wrong. But that's what I remember someone telling me. So that's what I always thought.
Well, I know J-Jax is in the same group that I'm in that she posted under, so
Oh,
he can
good.
also tell you what she posted.
Good.
I just wanted to express my feelings on her about how she portrayed Linda
Oh, okay. Go
in
ahead.
the show. So that's what I commented on her.
Oh, well, feel free to
That's
share.
not-
Feel
Well, so like in the series, they ask her about the samples and what the differences between a controlled sample and whatever kind of sample, and because a lot of people feel like the samples should have, the ones that Sherry Culhane contaminated,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people feel like those should have been dismissed or thrown out because they were contaminated, but they were trying to make the argument that, something about, well, if you knew the difference between a controlled sample and uncontrolled sample, then it wouldn't matter if you threw it out, sort of logic. So they basically asked Linda during Cam about it, and Linda said she didn't really care to know the difference because it didn't matter. At the end of the day, if there was a contaminated DNA evidence, it shouldn't have been submitted to court
Yeah.
by Sherry.
Mm-hmm.
And then after she said that, Candace Owens basically made a couple of nasty comments about Linda, and she's, So that was my biggest gripe, was that you purposely asked supporters who wouldn't know.
Right.
To basically either entrap them or trick them or whatever. And Linda didn't. So she's just like, well, it doesn't matter because, if it's contaminated, then it shouldn't be in court. And they still, use that to make Linda look like she didn't know what she was talking about. Rather than ask a supporter like Dr. Silkman, who would understand
Right.
about that stuff.
Why does that matter that it was contaminated? I don't know. Maybe ask a scientist,
Right,
not
exactly.
just a civilian supporter. That
Right.
is
She
not
made
trained.
That's all Pam was when it came to addressing supporters. It was about basically trying to make us look like idiots by asking us things that we wouldn't. Like, I don't know anything about DNA either.
Right. That's a
mean,
Scooby thing. Scooby knows that
Yeah.
stuff, but I don't know it. Yeah.
Right. So if you were to, if a guilter were to ask me about it, I'd be like, I don't know.
Right.
That doesn't mean that Brendan's guilty.
Right. Right. So, so we were talking about, well, like I said, we were talking about the interview with Brenda, and I couldn't remember specific things, so I just went over to the video and was going to read my comments directed to Brenda. And so one of them was she must have made a comment. What does Ertl mean by I can't process the scene because it's been altered? what do you think about that? Like, why do you think Ertl didn't want to process the scene because it's been altered? Because she didn't
Which
seem to
scene
understand that. What's that?
Which scene again are we talking about? Are we talking about
Oh,
trailer?
the bones in the burn pit. Yeah.
Maybe they're talking about the dog.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering like what your thoughts are. If you have any thoughts on that topic.
No, I mean, like the first thing that comes to my mind is that maybe they couldn't process it because originally they were saying they couldn't get near the area because of the dog.
Yeah. Do you think
Maybe,
maybe it was altered by the dog? It could have been.
maybe.
Yeah, since he could reach
I mean,
out in there. Hmm.
That's kind of a cop out to me, but I mean,
Yeah.
that's the first thing that came to my mind.
I think I remember that she said something like, they didn't know that there was bones in there. They didn't think that it was important, to get right to that, to the burn pit, because they didn't know there was bones in there. I don't think there was bones in there, honestly, but
That's crazy because weren't they the ones that came up with the narrative that she was burned?
yeah. Yeah, well, I mean,
mean,
that's why, because they found the bones in the burn pit, supposedly. That's why they think she was burned, but at the time that they hadn't found her, so they didn't know where she was or what had happened to her. You would think,
When was Brendan's first interview versus when they found the bones? Do you know?
his very first interview was
Or the one when he was at school?
February 27th?
27th?
27th.
Something like that?
Yeah, it was the
And when
27th.
When did they find the bones?
November 8th, I think. Is that right, you guys? November 8th. So yeah, I mean, they had found the bones. Sorry, what was that?
I said, I think it was the, but I'm not positive.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was the 8th when they found the bones in the burn pit too. So we'll just say, I mean, yeah, definitely long before they talked to Brendan, they'd already
Okay.
they'd
Yeah, I
already
was
found the
just
bones.
curious in my head.
Yeah. So that's why they were trying to get him to, put her in the burn
Say,
pit,
yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Right. Well, because they're the ones that mentioned to him originally too. We found bones in the burn pit, intertwined with stuff. Like that very first interview, they basically told him a lot of stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if that knowledge was put out there yet in the news or anything like that. Unfortunately, I can't remember off the top of my head, but
Oh, when they were found, yeah, I think it was. I think they said that they had found some bones or some remains or whatever in the burn pit.
yeah.
So did I ask you? I don't recall. Did I ask you what you think about that yet?
No, but for Ertl, I don't know if my theory is correct, but I've always thought that when he said altered, it was, he knew they'd messed with it, meaning the cops, and he didn't want to be involved in that, but
Mhm.
I have kind of a suspicious mind, so
I
may not be that.
I completely, totally agree with you. That's what I believe it is. That it was clearly, Sturtevant's poking bones with sticks, and they got a rake out, and we're kind of raking around in there to see if there were more bones. Because they didn't know at the time if it was human, but I think, gosh, I can't remember if it was Sturtevant or whoever it was. It was somebody that was standing there who said that's not a deer bone. They're a hunter, I guess. They knew it wasn't a deer bone, at least. So I think they might have suspected it was human, the first bones that they found. So yeah, I think that's what it was. Just the fact that they had been poking around in there even a little bit. They altered the scene. So what is the point of going in there and then now taking all these pictures, from like, oh gosh, from close up and then mid range and then far away, gritting it off and excavating it properly. You know, what would be the point in that? Because they've already messed with the scene. That's what I think, and I think that that's a pretty easy to understand. You know, if they were to go in there and, you know, start touching spots of blood and stuff with their fingers, you know, that's altering the scene. You know, going in there and trying to collect DNA or something, it's contaminated. Same thing, you know, why would you want to, you don't want to collect that blood that's been smeared around by somebody's finger. So so the next comment I left was, and she must have said something about this, like in Cam, where they were talking about the live scent dog hitting on skin cells coming from a dead person being burned in a fire and landing in some brush. I said, really? Maybe if it was a cadaver dog, I could maybe believe that, but not a live scent dog. No way. Loof hitting on that is just, I don't understand how anybody could think that there's any live anything happening when a person has been put in a fire. Any skin cells that's going to come off of them is going to be burnt, charred, ash, I don't know, whatever they turn into. It's coming off of a dead person anyway, so what difference does it make? She's dead when she's put in the fire, so it's all dead. It's not a live scent dog thing. It would, you know, maybe a cadaver dog, yes, I could see that, but not Loof. So what do you guys think about that silliness? I mean, or do you think it's silly about the bush?
The dog, they said during even Cam, the dog handler said that Bear, the other dog, was really distracting the scent dog, and really like they had to remove Bear because they said it was distracting the scent dog and he couldn't go to certain places. I feel like they should have, I don't know how that worked with scent dogs, but I feel like if that was being an issue with Bear, then maybe whatever results that the dog had shouldn't have been used, because you have a dog that was freaking out anyway.
Distracted, yeah.
Bear.
Mm-hmm. You know, and they're trained not to do that, so you know they don't react to, you know, the cadaver dogs. They're trained to not react
Right.
to other dogs. They're trained to not react to other animals or animal bones or whatever. They know the differences. So, hey Tom,
So that's what makes
I see
that's what makes it
somebody.
weird.
Sorry, I see somebody named Tom in Hangout. Tom, if you want to join us, we're in the live streaming channel. If you want to jump in here with us.
I don't know if he can hear you because he's in a different channel.
Oh, well, I'm hoping he's probably watching on YouTube. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you guys think, Dee? And I don't recall. What do you think about the live scent dog hitting on cells in the brush?
I find that highly unlikely.
Yeah. Yep. I don't recall. What do you think?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but didn't they have a cadaver dog?
Yeah. The cadaver dogs, I
Out there?
think, were there first.
And
I-
the cadaver dog didn't pick up on anything?
I think there was a cadaver dog that was going up and down that same area. I think there was. I don't know if it was the first one or not, but
Yeah, and here's the thing: like, if it's going to court, like, if you're going to tell a jury that, and the jury's just going to believe you, this is another problem with the defense. If you're going to tell a jury that the cadaver dog could pick up on some skin cells that drifted over to another area from the burn pit, if I'm a jury member and you're going to tell me that, I'm going to say, prove it. I'm not just going to sit there and be like, oh, okay, yeah. You know, I'm going to be like, well, prove your case. You're saying that this is the reason why the dog hit over there. Show me the science where you had something burned and cells from that, whatever that was being burned went over and landed over here and the dog picked up on it. And show me where you tested a bunch of dogs and there's reliability that a live scent dog is going to pick up on something like that.
Right.
And
Right.
the jury's not going to notice that right away. Like, the average person, I wouldn't expect them to be like, oh yeah, you're not going to pull one over on me and just tell me something, I'm going to believe it. But that's what the defense has to do. The defense has to tell the jury, be like, there's no, how can they should have object if that's even mentioned, because they need to get an expert to prove that. They need
Yeah.
to show an experiment that proves that. And the jury needs to know, be like, they're just saying that to you. You've seen no evidence that that's even possible, that the dog can't. You're just telling somebody saying, well, what if this happened? What if?
Right.
That's not good enough. That's
Yeah,
not good
maybe.
enough. Not even clear and convincing. It's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So I just, to me, that's just BS. They need to show that. And I find it highly unlikely that a few cells is going to drift over somewhere. That's at least 100 yards away, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
So-
will say Ash does travel fast if it's like super windy, but it doesn't matter if it's not a cadaver dog.
Right. And
Right.
If the cadaver dog didn't pick it up, then
and you'd have
why
to show
would
me
the
that
live scent dog?
on that day the wind was blowing west instead of
Right.
the normal east, and
Mm-hmm.
it was blowing this, here's our model showing, well, if you have a particulate, like a fire over here and wind's blowing this direction at this speed, yeah, there would be particulates that be deposited there. So at least it's possible,
Right. I mean, I will admit, ash can travel far away. That's why you can get like a forest fire, and then ash can travel, and skip parts or whatever because it hits on a yard,
Mhm.
But it still doesn't explain how a live scent dog picked up head cells when the cadaver dog didn't.
Right.
And then, like I said, they said that the live scent dog was like freaking out. And then how can you say that anything that the live scent dog was accurate if it was freaking out so much due to Bear being there?
Yeah.
Like I hate, like, honestly, they should have gotten a different dog.
I
If the
don't
dog that they
I don't think there was a problem with Loof, really. I think what she meant when she said, that Loof was freaking out was basically that she was really signaling, and she was like, I don't know how to.
No,
You
she
know, what-
said that the dog wouldn't go near certain areas because Bear was there.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't know.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so the Bear was interrupting. Is that the dog's name, Loof?
Loof, yeah.
Yeah, so Bear was interrupting Loof's
Track-
job. That's
track-
what
tracking,
their
yeah.
excuse was.
Hmm.
So if that's why they had to remove Bear, because she was stopping her from doing her job.
Yeah.
So if she was that distracted by another dog, then, was anything before or after that point reliable?
So, next comment I see is okay. I said, why would the prosecution feel bad for Brendan if they really believed he was involved in Teresa's horrible murder? Nice slip up. So I'm guessing she said that the prosecution feels bad for Brendan. I said, we all know why, because Brendan's confession was coerced, and even Stevie Wonder could see that. They should feel bad, every one of them. So, do you think the prosecution feels bad for Brendan? or the cops or anybody, do you think any of those people feel bad for Brendan, what they did to him? I don't think they do. They should.
Absolutely.
My callback say something like, well, he should have took the deal, then he'd be out in 20 years or whatever. And it just, I wouldn't, if somebody murdered my sister, I would not want them out in 20 years.
Right.
That's
Right.
what I think.
Exactly. I wouldn't care how young you were. You killed my sister. I want you to stay in prison forever. I don't want you to have a life because you helped murder a person. I don't feel like you deserve to have a life. I would not be feeling bad about it either. And I don't think if they were just doing their job that they would feel bad if they really believed that Brendan had anything to do with it. I don't think they do. And so when Brenda says something that, that they all feel bad for Brendan, I take it like, well,
I think it's a slap in the face.
I think they all fucking know that Brendan's confession was bullshit. So there is a good reason for them to all feel bad. They feel bad that he didn't take the deal. Well, let's talk about that, because I've heard that several times from like I don't even know who people talking about he should have taken the deal. He shouldn't have listened to his family, mainly Grandpa. Shouldn't have listened to Pa Avery, and just taken the damn deal. He would have been out by now. He could have had a life. No, I don't think he should have just taken the deal because he's innocent. And I know that his mom said, if you didn't do it, then don't say you did it. And so he didn't say he did it because it wasn't that simple. It wasn't like he just had to say, okay, I'll plead guilty. To get that deal, he had to testify against Stephen and tell lies. So to help convict Stephen, who is also innocent. Of course, Brendan is not going to do that. Of course, he would have failed miserably anyway. So I'm surprised.
He couldn't keep his story straight.
Exactly. So no, I don't think. If they were willing to give him that deal, and he could tell the truth, sure. But
I mean, sometimes, like, as a supporter and a friend to him, sometimes I wish that he did take the deal because he would be up now. And we could still fight for his innocence while he's free.
right, yeah,
But on other days, it's like, it pisses me off too because it's like, well, a kid shouldn't have to admit to something he didn't do just
Right.
to avoid, jail for life.
right. And I think I'm not going to say I'm glad he went the way he did. I think he did the right thing. I think he wanted to tell the truth, and he did. I think he did a great job at his trial. I think he did a great job trying to tell the truth, and just because they didn't believe him or whatever because he said something else in the confession video.
As for anybody feeling bad for him during this whole entire process, if they truly cared and felt bad for him, then they wouldn't have done any of this.
Right. Exactly.
Ken Kratz, Tom Fallon, Bieber, they all had an opportunity to change it around for him.
They
and
did.
They didn't. So that's why when they say like, "Oh, I feel bad," it's like, so obviously you don't really because he's still in prison, isn't it? And you put him there.
So that's what I was thinking. Why would they feel bad if they believed he killed her? Why would you want him to get out if you really believed that he had something to do with it? If you believed his confession was real, I don't see how anybody could possibly believe that confession is real. And if they do, then they're not watching all of the interviews and interrogations leading up to March 1st. You have to watch them all where they're planting seeds and who says what first. And then on March 1st, yeah, he gives some of that information back to them because they've already told him what to say, but the rest of it he's guessing, because not one damn thing that he did guess and say that wasn't fed to him could be proven. Not one thing, not one single thing. So his confession is so clearly not backed up by any evidence that they all should have been like, no, we can't do this. He's just a kid, you know. He clearly didn't have anything to do with this, you know.
Right.
But just being so desperate to get Steven, I think they just didn't give a shit. They didn't feel bad. But just the fact that she
They
said
were
that.
desperate to get Brendan to testify against them, and
Yeah.
they have a witness that would be their evidence,
Yeah.
because they didn't really have any evidence.
Hmm. Yeah. All the evidence supposedly is planted, and that's Steven's defense. So what do you have aside from planted evidence? You got Brendan's confession, but they didn't even use it, which sucks. I think if they...
Well, right, but also look at when were they setting up Brendan to testify against Steven, right? To give his sworn affidavit against Steven. And when did that start to fall apart and him not agreeing anymore? And then when did other evidence start to just pop up out of nowhere?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. March 1st is when
look
that
at those
started.
timelines. And
Well,
I
March
think,
is when he. Sorry.
well, I just think that, there might be a correlation between when plan A isn't working and stuff from plan B starts, going into effect.
Right.
So let's, okay, for example, March 1st, in that confession, whatever, they get Brendan, they want to talk about where was she shot. And I think he first, I can't remember where he starts out, but I know at some point he says that it is when she's inside of her RAV, in the back of the RAV. One is by the burn pit. One is on the outside of the garage, and he's guessing. No, that's not what I'm thinking. Where was she shot, Brendan? They get him to keep guessing until he says in the garage, and then when they fed that to him. I don't remember which way it went, but I know for sure that they kept pushing him. Nope, that's not what I'm thinking, until he finally said what they wanted, which was that she was shot in the garage. Then the next day they go and fucking jackhammer that whole floor up or whatever. They go out there searching that garage and jackhammering it up, and they find a bullet and all this shit. They were expecting to find Teresa's blood in there, and but they didn't find any blood. So they eventually found, oh yay, it's a magic bullet, just shows up out of nowhere. Hi Link, thanks for the sandwiches, by the way. What the fuck are you doing delivering sandwiches? You shouldn't be there. But that kind of stuff right there, just okay, you got Brendan to say something, that she was shot in the garage, on the floor of the garage. She was shot. Okay, now you find a bullet. Now you've got something that you can claim came from Brendan that shows that Steven did this, right? That's not planted, because this came after, all the planted evidence. This came after. So leave him the fuck alone, use that, and then throw everything else away. Why continue to prosecute him? Ken Kratz could have just said, I'm not prosecuting this kid. He could have done the right
That's what I
thing.
mean.
Yeah,
So he can take his I feel bags and shove it for all I care.
that's what I'm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I just thought it was interesting.
Really felt bad, and now they could step up and say we were wrong.
That's what they need to be saying. Not I feel bad. We were wrong. And stop fighting, letting him out. If they would have just let him out 4 years ago when he, won in federal court, if they wouldn't have fought it, they would have just said, okay, we give, you know, he would have been out. And okay, cool. But now I think it's about money, you know, because now he can sue.
Yeah.
And
Well, that's the problem is that if Brendan or Steven get out, they can sue. They can sue for a
Yeah,
lot.
so they're gonna keep-
places. Some people have been getting like millions of dollars through the
Yeah,
state.
yeah,
You know?
they're never
I
going
know
to stop.
Brendan- yeah, I just know that Brendan himself has said he wouldn't sue the state.
He wouldn't?
He would not. Yeah, he just wants to go home.
Oh, honey. Oh, sweet baby.
I mean, that's why every time the conversation comes up and like I'm writing a letter to Governor Evers or whatever, he says, just tell them that I just want to go home. Like, I don't want money or anything.
Well, if that's true, why aren't they trying to get him an Alford plea? Because I'm pretty sure they'd give him that.
I'm not 100% sure, and I'm maybe Cherie knows because she's the lawyer, but I'm not sure who has to offer it first, if the state has to offer it first, or if a lawyer can offer it or ask them for it, or I don't know.
Or could they even do that in Wisconsin?
I don't know.
I don't see why they couldn't.
Because he'd have to change his plea to guilty, right, so that he could get.
Well, he could say because he'd have to basically say like I'm innocent, but I accept the guilty, or something.
Whatever the hell he has to say to get the Alford plea offered to him or whatever, and also not be able to sue. Sign this shit and let him go home then. If that's what he really, really feels like, but I want him to sue the shit out of him. I really do.
I know a lot of
But
people do.
if
But
he-
I think he doesn't care about the money. You know, he just wants to go home.
Poor baby. Then maybe next time you talk to him, I don't know, Cherie, what do you think about, is that a possibility? Maybe his lawyers can ask for an Alford plea or something like that to get him just out of there?
I haven't done this type of law, so I can't say definitively, but I would think that they could offer that, and then, you know, the prosecutor, of course, would be the final decider, and about whether to go along with it or not. But
I can't see any reason why they wouldn't. I know their biggest fear is being sued now. And if they also get him to say, you know, I accept this guilty plea, whatever. I accept that I'm guilty and I will never be able to sue. I don't see why they would fight it.
I don't, he doesn't have to say he's guilty, but he has to, like the state, he agrees that the state could have I don't know, I can't remember exactly how they put it, like, but that the state.
It's like we're saying you're guilty, but we don't have enough evidence to hold you, or something like that, right?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. There you go. That's more like it. But it's the whole thing is that he doesn't have to say, you know, admit guilt or say he's guilty. He's just taking the deal to. He's not going to fight it anymore, I guess you would say. But although, look at the West Memphis 3, they took that Alford plea, but they can still fight it. But they just
you
can't.
can take.
Yeah.
The
Right.
state
You can take anybody to court for anything and try to fight almost anything. It's just, you know, you can't. They're not going to get money out of it. But yeah, they're right now they're trying to get the DNA evidence tested.
Which DNA do you know?
They have like this unknown sample of DNA through the West Memphis 3 that.
Oh,
was never
okay.
tested.
I thought you were talking about
Yeah.
here. Okay. Cool.
No. It's West Memphis.
Nice.
So, but the state refuses to test it. So
Oh.
they're right now going through court, and I think it's almost to the Supreme Court, to be honest with you, because it's been a few years. to basically demand that the state test it. And the guys have offered their own money to go into testing it, and even to offer a place to test it, but the state just refuses. So they think that that's the DNA that they found is the killer's DNA.
That's awesome.
But they do know for a fact that the DNA does not link either one of the 3 boys.
Mm-hmm.
Guys.
Of course.
Men now.
Yeah. Hi, Mary and J-Jax. You guys are welcome to join us. We're on Discord. I'll put the link up for you. Merry Christmas to all of you. Hi, Jazz Naz. Yeah, you guys are so welcome to join us.
I think J-Jack should come up here and then tell you what Brenda Schuler posted in that group.
Yeah, that'd be great if he wants to.
I was just pissed that I wanted to say some things personally to her about the Linda thing. I didn't really pay attention to what she posted, so.
Right. I'll be honest. When I very first, I didn't want to watch this because I was just mad. I was mad just from that little clip of like the preview of what's coming up in the next episode, which I never watched, I guess, but where she's just kind of being rude to Linda. And I'm just like, I've been so mad at her because of that. Just the way she talked down to Linda, like she's stupid. And, well, do you want to know? Like, right. Like if you don't know, then you've got nothing to base your opinion on, you know? Do you want to know? Right. Like, you know, do you want to know what the truth? Who cares? It's not like Linda can freaking argue it. So why are you telling her? Because she can't argue it. So you know that.
Because she can't. She's not equipped to argue that. Everybody here on panel, except for, you know, Dr. Silkman in our community, can probably argue it. So that's why it's like you did that purposely to a supporter. Just to make them look stupid on your little show. And that's what pissed me off too, because and then one of the things Brenda Schuler said back to me, and then I blocked her, because like I said, I was like, no, I don't care anymore, like what she has to say. But like she said, well, I always thought the world of Linda. Well,
Brenda said that?
Brenda said that, yeah.
Well.
And I thought, well, if you thought the world of her, you wouldn't have put her in a position like that.
Right. On camera for everybody in the world to see, man.
Really to see. And all I can say is that Linda never saw it, and thank God she didn't, because
Good.
You know, she didn't need to see that.
Right. The day that I talked to Linda, she sent me a video after we got off the call. It was the last day that, you know, one of the last days that she was able to communicate with someone. So I'm so thankful I got the chance to do this. But in that, she sent me a video of her saying, I give Allie Apperson permission to get any footage that anybody has of her interviews. There's like 3 of them, I think she said. And so she thought that someone in foul play had recorded it, but they said that they didn't. So if I can ever get her footage from, you know, somebody from maybe Brenda or somebody, I've got that permission.
She is a producer, so she might have access to it.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I would love just to see them in general, just to hear her talk. You know what I mean? So like, that's where I'm like. So if you can't communicate with her, she's on Facebook.
I think she blocked me. I think she blocked me. I can't. Oh yeah, a long time ago when Greaseback and I were going back and forth, and you know, I was trying to tell him evidence, you know, show him things, right? And he would ask her if he didn't know how to respond. He would ask her, and we did this for so long that finally he was like, "Hey, I got this lady that she helped me write my book. You know, I totally trust her. Would you be willing to talk to her?" And I was like, "Sure." So it was Brenda, and that's the only time I ever talked with her, and I don't remember exactly what our conversation was like back and forth, but she was trying to convince me that they're guilty and that I was wrong, and I was trying to convince her that no, they're not. See, here's this. You know, she would say something about something, and I would respond back, and then eventually, when it ended, she just blocked me. Like, you know, okay, well, I'm gonna go now, and you know, I think basically she was like, I give up. I can't convince you, so I have no reason to continue talking to you. You don't want to hear what the hell I have to say. You know, it's like, where's your open mind? Because I'm not sitting here spouting stupid nonsense. I've got documents too. At the time I did.
Right.
I had the notebooks and the binders and shit.
Yeah, in her mind, it seems like he's guilty just simply because of his past.
Hmm. I don't know.
And that seems to be kind of like the angle that they were going for in Pam. It wasn't necessarily having to do with documents or evidence or anything. It was just, you know, well, he did this, and that when he was younger. So
Yeah.
that was kind of the vibe I got from Cam. Because nothing in Cam was new, you know, as far as that goes. Like, there wasn't anything groundbreaking. There was just a lot of things that, proof of things that we've all heard of as far as his past goes, but...
Yeah. Or, you know, some of it. I mean, like, most of it I've heard, yeah. But there's a couple things I hadn't, like, about what Stephen did to the dog. I would like, that was one thing that, that Jinx...
I actually asked
What?
a family member about that. I asked a family member about that.
Yeah?
And I won't say who, but I asked one that would know. And that family member said that never happened. And I know that it's hard to be like, oh, well, how would they know? Well, the family member was always on the property. The family member knows where the dog came from. And if that did happen to the dog, her or Earl, the one who was talking about the dog, would have taken the dog back.
Okay, I know who you're talking about now. So, yeah.
I kind of gave it away a little bit.
It's okay. It's okay. You didn't say the name. I get you. I get you.
But yeah, but the family member said that wouldn't have flied on.
Right.
A few of them.
So, but was it Bear? Was he talking about?
No, it wasn't Bear.
It wasn't Bear. Okay.
No.
So it was another dog another German
dog.
Shepherd. Okay. So what is Earl claiming? You know, is he claiming that Stephen, that it just hurt the dog, or did he kill the dog by dragging it like that?
I guess he's claiming that he hurt the dog by dragging him like that.
Okay.
Not that the dog died.
Yeah, and then so the dog's hurt, it's injured, and he has to take it back home, and now everybody that comes out there can see it, you know, the Chuck and Barb and all the kids, and
Right.
anybody else
That's
that
what I'm
visits.
saying. The family member would have taken the dog back.
Right. Okay. Was it their dog to
Or
begin
Earl.
with, or?
It was Earl's dog to begin with.
Okay. And did they also take Bear?
I think who? No.
Okay. I thought that's where Bear ended up too, with the same person.
Bear. No. Well, Bear. I don't know what happened to Bear, but I think they actually had to put Bear down because he was getting cancer.
Oh, baby.
But I think the same family member took in Bear. Yeah.
Okay, I
But
thought so.
Yeah, but they had to put him down like a few years later because of the cancer. Yeah, I think that's what I didn't. That's what I heard through the grapevine.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
like, well, scrolling through Facebook things, but yeah, the dog that Earl was talking about was not there.
Okay. Yeah, that was one of the questions that I had. And Jenks was really curious about it, and she got me to message Earl about it, and he never answered. So I just had a couple questions. I mean, we're friends, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know if he would tell me something like that, you know? Hey, Ripper, Merry Christmas. You are so welcome to join us if you want. We're, you know, we are in Discord, unfortunately, because I still have to wait until the 28th before I get more time on StreamYard. I went over the limit the second day, so I have to stay here. Eventually, I'm going to pay for it, but right now I can't afford it, so, you know, not yet. But I do love StreamYard.
I had to cancel my StreamYard subscription too, like recently. So.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. I can still StreamYard. I just can't with the fancy stuff in it. Like
Right.
So.
But you used to. I mean, you go live a lot. Do you ever go over the limit? Like, if you had the free version, would you ever go over the limit?
I don't remember.
I think it's like 25 hours. I'm guessing a month that you get.
Yeah. I think maybe one time I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not going over, then, you know, sure, the free version's pretty cool. I like it. But I do want to get I'm gonna have to get the paid version, just because I like it. I like it a lot better than using OBS, because I have to like 3 screens open right now. I don't want to deal with that. I love that the chat and everything is right there in StreamYard, one window.
Yeah, it does make it easy.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So let's see. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so the next thing that I said to, I guess, to Brenda was, let's stop pretending that Couché didn't draw Steven's mug shot. Penny's eyes were swollen shut so bad she said she couldn't see the paper she was supposed to sign. So I doubt she's the one directing Couché's pencil to draw anything. Her description was not a short man, it was a taller man. He had brown eyes, not super blue eyes you can't miss. Let's not forget the fun fact about the underwear Penny described. Yet Steven doesn't wear underwear. Just stop. Steven didn't try to rape or kill Penny. That whole investigation was dirty, and they knew damn well it wasn't Steven Avery. Well, everyone aside from Sandra Morris's BFF, Judy Dvorak, who was the one that said Penny's attacker sounded like Steven Avery. So I remember Brenda was saying something about Penny being the one who guided Couché's pencil to draw, and she used the example like, you know, he would draw out the nose and she'd go, no, a little thinner. Okay, so he'd change it and he'd go back and make it a little thinner. Yeah, that looks better. And the eyes, no, they're a little blah, you know, whatever.
Right.
That where do you get that information? Where'd you hear that? Maybe because that's what Couché says in his deposition, which she has and we don't. But that does not mean that's what happened. Did we hear that from Penny? Or do we hear that shit from Couché? Because of course he's going to say, well, yeah, she guided me and she told me how to do the drawing. You know, of course that's what he's going to say. So I'm sorry. Dirty cops planting shit. Dirty conviction. Steven was fucking innocent, and that's a fact. So she did not have you draw Steven Avery's mugshot. I'm sorry, that didn't happen. But she couldn't see. I remember her saying that. Her eyes were, he beat the shit out of her. Her eyes were swollen really shut. They were puffed up like crazy. So how is she, you know, how's she really seeing clearly? oh no, the nose needs to be a little skinnier or whatever, smaller. I just don't believe it. I don't believe that she did have him draw that. I don't. I mean, it's obvious.
Well, Cachet wasn't convinced that Stephen was innocent of that rape.
I know, because it's so easy to fake DNA, right?
And if he's not convinced, I'm sure there's others that aren't convinced.
Oh, I'm positive of that. There was some cops that said that. Didn't Peterson say that?
Yeah, straight up denied that the DNA proved that Stephen was innocent.
Right. Really?
He would have definitely agreed that it proved him guilty, but
Yeah.
the DNA showed that it was somebody else.
Yeah.
Who was a
Okay.
known rapist in the area.
Are
But
you
they were like,
fucking
no,
stupid?
it probably was Stephen because, I mean, that drawing. Plus, Stephen could have been there, so that's definitely.
Yeah, he could have, because he was completely way the fuck over there with all these witnesses.
Now,
Oh, Lord.
If I had cops that were saying that, I mean, to me, that's like, you're basically impeaching them. You're basically saying,
Right.
you can't trust their testimony, you can't trust their judgment because they're not reasonable.
Right.
And, the public can have their opinion, individuals can have their opinions, but how can you have a deputy or an investigator or anybody like that is supposed to have the public trust, supposed to be doing their job, be biased like that? And they're supposed to be dispassionate, and they're clearly not. So how can you have them comment on any case? If they can't be truthful and righteous in one case, how do you know that they're truthful and righteous in any case?
Right.
And that's why cops get Brady when they're impeached on their testimony or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
They have to be held to a higher standard. Clearly, they really are. It seems like.
Yeah.
But certainly in this case, I don't know. The whole thing makes me sick.
So, I'll be right back, but while I'm gone, oh, hi, Arrow, woo woo. What you doing, baby? They're so cute. But while I'm gone, Becca and Cherie, if you guys want to comment on that, what do you think about what do you think about where did Brenda get this information that Penny is the one that guided the pencil to draw that mugshot of Stephen Avery? Where do you think she got that? And what do you think about that mugshot? Do you think that, or not that mugshot, but that drawing, do you think that was real or some fuckery happening there?
Based, no question about it. For me, and I think that he got the drawing from tracing that one mugshot of Stephen from an earlier time, I guess it was. And I think that the story about, her guiding him and drawing it came from that, because that's what the police or the sheriff's department wanted everybody to believe. That's my thought.
Well, they have to have that. They have to have everybody believe it, whether it was true or not, because it makes it look incredibly bad if they were fabricating evidence.
Good point.
And it really undoes every conviction they've ever been involved with if they're found out to have been fabricating. I mean, that's the problem. Once they do something like that, they have to go all in. They have to double down every time. They can never let up, because if they do, they're done. Even if they're proven forensically to have done it, they're still going to have to deny it, because if they don't, then everything gets undone. That's not even counting lawsuits that come after that, but all the work that the county's done up to that point, you know, all those years where they've been involved with that, has to be vacated, has to be relooked at. It's a huge expense.
And I think that's why Lautenschlager was so willing to find no wrongdoing, you know, because there would have been a lot of backlash, or there should have been a lot of backlash if she found otherwise.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, guys. I had to turn my laundry back on and go have a quick cigarette, but. So Becca, did you want to respond to that nonsense about the claim that Jean's pencil supposedly was guided by Penny? What do you think about that? Okay, so she's probably gone too. Okay, well, we'll go on.
Did Penny herself ever comment on that? Like,
I know that she did say somewhere at some point that. So, is that laundry too loud?
yeah, could you turn it down a little bit?
Okay, let me turn it back off. Hold on.
I'm just teasing you. I'm just
Really?
kidding.
I can turn it off. Is it? Can you hear it?
No.
You don't hear it? Okay.
Yes, if it was too loud. So
Oh, yes, sir. I'll do it. But I know she said somewhere that her eyes were so swollen shut she couldn't see to sign her name on something that they wanted her to sign at the hospital. So that's supposedly where Jean Cachet did the drawing. So if she couldn't see to sign her name, I doubt that she could, see the noses and the eyes and stuff he's drawing. Because, anybody could sign their name without looking. It's automatic. But she couldn't see, like, where she's supposed to sign. She could see where they were pointing for her to sign. She couldn't see because her eyes were swollen shut. She said that. But I believe that Brenda is getting her information from Jean Cachet's deposition that we can't see because she has it. And if that's the case, I call bullshit. I don't believe a damn thing he said. Because of course he's not going to admit that he, drew the mugshot. Of course he's not going to admit that. Which, at the time, and I don't remember what it was, Stephen didn't look like that anymore. So he drew.
Right, he looked like the mugshot, not like what he actually looked like that
Yeah,
day.
that's not what he looked like that day. He didn't look like that anymore. I don't remember what it was that was different, but I think his hair was straighter or something. It wasn't all bushy and funky like that. I don't know about the beard and all. I'm not sure if he had a beard or not. But whatever, Brenda, if that's where you want to get your information from, you have to just completely trust the cops, and I don't, and none of us do. I don't think they're all full of shit. I don't think they're all lying, but I do believe somebody has done something. So I'm not going to believe Jean Cachet when it's just plain as day. He framed his framing, he framed it. It there's no, you can't deny that it was the same damn picture.
I tell my kids not to trust the police. And I don't tell them that because I think that most police are bad, or even that, some police are bad.
Mm.
I go on the basis that they're human.
Yeah.
They make mistakes. They
Right.
have bad days. And some of them are bad people.
Yes.
But a lot of them are human. And a lot of them don't, they're not perfect every day.
Right.
And, there's no guarantee, there's nothing in place that says that if they do make a mistake, if they do have a bad day, that it's exposed and they're held accountable and it's there for the public to see. Their disciplinary records are kept sealed from the public. You know, a lot of times they can't even, you know, when they go to a different department, the hiring department can't even see what was at the previous one. They're protected. So it's quite the opposite, and that just makes it worse. I understand people make mistakes. That wouldn't be such a big deal.
Right.
And the other thing is it manifests into things like what we're seeing in this case and so many other cases. I mean, it's a serious problem.
That's right. Just, you know, even before this case, you know, I just all the true crime and videos and stuff that I like to watch, I always have told my kids, you know, the cops usually are not bad guys, but you never know when they're going to get something wrong and try to blame you for something if you didn't do anything. So you never talk to them without me there. And depending on what it is, I'll make the decision. Do they need an attorney, or can I handle this? Like, is this are they witnesses to something? Which there was one time where my boys were a witness to something, and the cops came over trying to talk to them, and they said, you have to talk to our mom. And they all came together to talk to me, and it was just something very simple. We had to go down to the police station so they can give a statement on something that they witnessed. And I had the boys tell me, what's this about? What did you see? And it was something about, we saw so-and-so steal so-and-so's bike from their garage. So it had nothing to do with them. They wouldn't have been in trouble for that. They saw who did it. So they were helping catch the bad kid, I guess, and find the missing bike. So they were actually going to be helpful witnesses for that. And so I didn't see any reason to get an attorney involved in that. It was something I just handled myself, and it was fine. But it's not always the case. Like this, being a witness to a murder or burning of a body or whatever the hell supposedly Brendan was a witness to, that's pretty serious. You definitely wouldn't want to do that without an attorney. So yeah, just everybody tell your kids to make sure that they at least let you know that, that the cops cannot talk to them without you there. You can't. I can't talk to you without my parents. You know, my mom, my dad, whoever they trust. I can't talk to you without them. So the parents can decide if it's something that they need, you know, legal representation for and protection. You know, because you never know when they're going to try to turn some shit around on you and make you the bad guy. So my next comment is, this is a long one. This is about, there's a couple things going on in this comment. So I'll just read it. Brenda, you're really pushing it by trying to say that Brendan was changing his story in Crivets. Becca, are you back? Darn, I was hoping she'd be here so she could get involved in this conversation. We both know damn well that the only reason he changed his story at all was because of those marionette officers who you claim didn't know anything were basically calling him a liar. They did know something. They knew at that time that it was believed that the bus driver saw Teresa taking pictures that day. So that's what the marionette officers knew. They believed that Brendan should have seen her there taking pictures because the bus driver said so. So that's what they believed. So when Brendan says, no, I didn't see anything, you know, we got off the bus and I went home and blah, 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 his same story that he's been telling, and they're calling him a liar. Well, that's not true. Tell us the truth, you know. What did you see? You had to have seen her there. Everybody else on the bus said they saw her. Your bus driver saw her. You know, so they got him to change his story. right there in Marionette. Well, maybe I did see her taking pictures. I don't remember. I thought it was another day. Brendan was actually right. He did see her taking pictures one time on that one day, which would have been, I guess, on October 10th, when she was there taking. And that's another thing that the bus driver says, and this is something that Ken Kratz says all the time, that the bus driver saw Teresa taking pictures, and he tries to make it be on the 31st, and then that's the day. But the bus driver has always said she wasn't sure. And in her very first statement, she says that she saw a woman taking pictures of a blazer. She literally said the word blazer. And she said, the reason why I remember it stuck out to me was because it was ugly. It was so ugly. Why would anybody want to take pictures of that thing? It was a piece of shit, basically. So it stuck out in her mind. She remembered that. The date, she did not remember. And she says that right at the beginning. So how that changed and morphed into her trial testimony, where she's calling it a van now. Well, the van was way the fuck down the road, in front of the houses. It wasn't where the bus stop is. So that was just not possible for her to have seen that day. But I don't think that at trial that was ever sorted out. It wasn't sorted out well, because it's still being used now. The bus driver saw her. The bus driver saw her. Brendan saw her. That she was there at the same time. Whatever. So the rest of my comment was said. But in Crivets, the officer questioning Brendan tells him that he's lying about seeing her earlier than October 31st, because the bus driver and all the kids on the bus say they saw her taking pictures on October 31st. That was not true. Of course, we now know that the bus driver always said she wasn't sure about the date. She always said Teresa was by the bus stop near the mailboxes, not way down by the trailers where the van was parked, which puts the bus driver seeing Teresa on a previous visit, period. So see how this simple little bit of a difference caused Brendan's story to not be believed. He wasn't lying. He was actually telling the truth. He didn't need to be questioned right away, Brenda. So Brenda was saying that because Brendan was caught lying that very first day in Marionette, in Crivets, which was it November 5th, November 5th, when they got pulled over, they were questioning Brendan. And because Brendan lied, supposedly, about not seeing Teresa on the 31st, she said that he should have been questioned immediately because he was already lying. That's not true. He wasn't lying. He was actually telling the truth. So, what was that?
Yeah. I was just gonna add that what he didn't lie is what he did is whoever was questioning him realized that he could make Brendan say something different just by questioning what he said. I think it might have been the number of brothers or something that he had. And he got out of the car, got back in, and then he started on this, trying to get him to change his story on whether he saw her that day or not. And so that's what I think.
Yeah. I think that was one of the other things I probably said that I probably put in this comment, that what they learned about Brendan that day was not that he was lying. What they learned was that they can make him change his story by telling him he's lying. Make him change his story to fit what they believe is true. That's what they learned. They learned that the very first day, on November 5th. And I'm positive that the cops used that later on. They knew just by seeing that they could manipulate him, call him a liar, and get him changed to whatever they want him to say. Let's see. He didn't need to be questioned. If anything, that little interrogation in Krivitz showed Wiegert and Fassbender that Brendan can easily be coerced, change his story off. All they have to do is tell him he's lying. That's what I wrote. I said, if you really want to know where the March 1st confession comes from, all you have to do is listen to all of Brendan's available interviews and occur. Okay. Who plants the seeds that grow into this Kratz fantasy on live news? What happens when Brendan is pushed to guess? Not just about Teresa allegedly being shot with everything. Now tell me, Brenda, where's the evidence from all the random nonsense Brendan guessed about? Where's the evidence of anything related to Brendan? Oh, there's literally none, and you think he's guilty? How? That was my comment to her, how she possibly thinks that he is guilty, because there is no evidence other than that coerced confession. So, what do you think about? What do you think? You know, like we were talking about. What do you think? Do you think Brenda's right or wrong that Brendan immediately was lying and he should have been questioned right away by the cops, by the detectives, about seeing Teresa on the bus when he got off the bus? Do y'all think he was telling? I mean, he obviously was telling the truth, but what do you think about what Brenda says? Where the hell is she getting this information? Why does she think?
I think that if the cops really truly believed that Brendan was guilty and that he was lying, then I don't know what else they could have done differently than what they've been doing. You know what I mean? Because they have questioned him multiple times, and so like I don't know what more she wants from the cops to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he saw her. I think at this point, to be real honest with you, I don't think Brendan knows what the truth versus what they manipulated him to believe happened that day. You know what I mean? Like for instance with the fire, I don't think there was a fire on the day.
I don't either. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Brendan now says that there is a fire, and I think it's because they manipulated him so much.
Right.
You know, but I don't think he really saw Teresa getting off the bus. Because I don't see how he could.
Not on the 31st, for sure.
Right. I don't even think the bus driver could have seen her.
No.
Maybe on another day in their mind. Because, like, I know, like, with memory, you plug things in where you need to.
Mm-hmm.
And so your own memory isn't necessarily reliable. I could believe that maybe one point he may have saw her or somebody like her and was like, well, maybe that was her, and maybe that was on the 31st, but I don't know.
Yeah, he saw her on the 10th. Sorry, go ahead, D.
Memory can be fickle. You know, you got the Mandela effect and all that other stuff. So
yeah,
right.
You know, you could very easily convince somebody that they remember something that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
That never
right,
happened.
well, but it's the same rate with the fire, you know, like, I don't think there was a fire on the 31st, because in the very first interview with most of the family, everyone said it was, like, on, like, what, November something?
Yes, it was a couple of days later. And
yeah.
and there's proof of that, actually. There's all kinds of proof of that, too. Even, you know.
Even himself was like, there wasn't a fire on the 31st.
Right, and Kayla and Earl and Brendan and Blaine, the girls that they were going to invite or the people they were going to invite at school, like this could have been verified. What day was that? It was a couple days later.
It was like on a Thursday night or something like that.
Yeah.
Even you know that was so like that's what I mean. Like it's really hard to say like you know, what actually happened versus what the police basically manipulated that whole family to believe.
Mm-hmm. So who was the first one that mentioned a fire? It was Redant.
Was it Redance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he
Was it on
saw.
that day, though?
I don't remember. I don't think he remembers what day, but I know he did say. I'm pretty sure he said it was on the 31st, but he said it was a burn barrel. He saw a small fire in a burn barrel.
Which could have been the case because they
Mhm.
burn. That's how they get rid of their trash. So,
Right.
Like I would imagine, if you had 4 boys, teenage boys living in a home, you would burn a lot of trash.
Sure. Nobody claims to have been burning trash that day, so everybody's lying. And no, it wasn't a burn barrel, Josh Redant. It was a big bonfire apparently where a body was burned. So
Right.
they tried to get him to change the fire and make it bigger. Remember, he says that and make him
Yeah,
murder
I
too.
remember that. Yeah.
So that's what he said. It was a burn barrel. But he was the first person that mentioned it, and I think, and then it came from Barb. Yeah, I remember it was that
Well, I
day.
know.
You know.
Yeah, Barb was convincing Steven on the phone
Yeah.
when Steven was incarcerated. No, there was a fire on that day.
Yeah.
Because Steven, up to that point, was like, no, there wasn't a fire on the night of the
Right.
31st.
Right.
And after that conversation, then he's like, well, maybe there was a fire on the 31st.
Right.
Like, even to this day, he'll say that there might have been a fire on the 31st because like their memories are so brainwashed by this whole thing.
And it's not a big deal. They weren't burning a body, so it's nothing memorable. You know, if they had
Well,
burned a
it's the
body,
point that
then
it wasn't. It's the point that it didn't happen though,
yeah.
and that the enforcement, or the law enforcement not only botched evidence but botched their memories. So what really happened that day?
Yeah.
You know?
Not a fire.
Do we really know? Like, probably not
No.
now.
But I'll tell you what, you know, also the jail calls from Jody to Steven. I just listened to that call on the call at 5:30-ish is when she called him. He's supposed to be, you know, burning fires and stuff right then at that time. So, you know,
Supposedly, yeah.
or
we
or
know.
possibly
Those
still
phone
raping
calls,
her, but he's calm as
Right.
shit. He's like, you know, goofing off
Well, and
with her and
Even in those phone calls, he never said he was burning a fire. He just said he was fucking around in the yard and in the blue trailer.
yeah, he was
He
talking
just said
about
that he was working on stuff. Yeah. He
Yeah.
didn't say, "Oh yeah, I got a fire going."
now. Yeah, and then, well, hell, I don't even remember. But then that brings us to the next part of it, I think, which is Barb talking about the bleach on his jeans.
Was it Barb or was it?
Yeah, Barb. I believe it was when they were at McDonald's or something. Her and Scott met up at McDonald's, and I don't remember. I do remember. I guess it came from Barb that, yeah, you got bleach on your jeans. You were helping Steven clean up the garage. You know. Let's see what I says. I said, blame Barb for telling the cops about the bleach on Brendan's jeans, which that's what Brenda was saying. She was talking about Barb telling the cops about the bleach on Brendan's jeans. I said, but she's wrong about when. You know, she's wrong about when that happened. That happened, whatever the hell day it was. They were cleaning up the stain on the floor. So how the hell does Barb know that it was that night that he came home with bleach on his jeans, because she wasn't there on the night of the 31st. So how does she know that he came home with bleach on his jeans that night? She wasn't there. So that's why I said Barbara wasn't home that night when Brendan got home. She was at Scott's. So she could have seen his jeans when she couldn't have seen his jeans when he came home. So yeah, Brendan would probably know when he helped Steven clean the garage floor better than she would.
Well, she did say that she came home, what, around 5?
Well, she came home from work at 5 and Scott picked her up.
And then Scott picked her up, and then they came back. And then they went back over to Scott.
Right. Scott dropped her off, and then a few minutes later, like Scott left, and a few minutes later she followed behind him. Yeah.
Right.
Because he had already started
And
watching some
Brendan
show.
Brendan was still at the house, and she said, "Don't forget to wear a jacket" or something like that.
Yeah. So
So,
he didn't.
I mean, going with the timeline, if, like, let's say he was helping Steven clean the garage, and he truly was home before Barb got home, and he just chilled, because I don't think he left the house again to go back over to Steven's after that point.
I don't either.
Then she may have seen the bleach on the jeans at that point, but
I
their
don't know.
narrative, the police's narrative is that he went back over after she left and then helped clean up, and that's when the spill on the jeans happened.
Right. So
Where did they find blood that had been cleaned up with bleach in the garage?
they didn't.
Didn't.
So I don't understand why they'd even be worried about bleach on anybody's jeans.
They shouldn't be.
That was their narrative, saying that it had to have happened because there was bleach on his jeans.
Yeah, which is
No, that's logically incorrect.
exactly.
There'd have to be
We agree
there'd
with
have
you.
to be a
but
stain in the garage on the porous concrete. There'd be blood and bleach.
Oh yeah, well that's what we're
You
saying.
pour bleach on the
There's-
concrete without it being a spot. There'd be a clean spot.
Right.
The only logic they had that could have happened was, one, Brendan said that in his quote unquote, confession, and two, there was bleach on his jeans.
Right, but
Those are the only
Like-
the only two things that lead them to believe that that's what happened that night.
when they're interrogating him and he says that he helped them clean it with bleach in the garage, then they go back to the scene. They check if there's a bleach spot in the garage, and then
Well,
they
it
come
wasn't
back and they
just-
say, "Brendan, you lied to us because there's no evidence of bleach in the garage."
Blood.
Tell us the
But
truth.
it wasn't just bleach either. It was paint thinner, wasn't it? It was
Well,
apparently they were making
more
a
stuff
napalm
than that they're
mess on
having.
the floor.
Exactly. That's some kind of
Because
bleach.
Brendan was just coming up with stuff in his mind that might be in the garage that they could
Right.
pour on the floor. Like, what are they trying to
Because
tell me
that-
that they want me to hear? Or want to hear from me?
Right. They're in the garage making homemade napalm and spilling it all over his blue jeans.
Right.
That's the terrible interrogation that they did. When somebody tells you they did something and this is what they did, you then go back to the scene and look for evidence of that. And if you don't find evidence of that, they're lying to you.
Right.
You go back
Right.
and you get the real story. You don't say, "Well, we may not have evidence of that, but that's what we wanted you to say, so good enough for
Right.
us."
Well, in their minds, they thought, well, they must have did a really good job cleaning it up. Because
Right.
There's no DNA evidence of her even being here.
Right. But that's not how bleach works. So
No, it's not.
that is one of those things that I researched the shit out of, which was, the different kinds of bleach. The kind that would take DNA away, and then there's the kind that would take the appearance of the blood away, but not the DNA, which is the kind everybody uses, everybody's got in their, laundry room. That's everywhere. You can buy it at every store. The kind that has that takes DNA away, destroys the
Did not be on
DNA.
your ass.
It's not the kind that you're going to accidentally ever buy. So Steven didn't have any of that kind of bleach. So there is no removing with some magic fucking potion just Teresa's DNA, because Steven's DNA, Steven's blood is in there. How does he know the difference between Teresa's blood, deer blood, and Steven's blood that was all over the damn garage floor? They didn't clean that up. How'd they know what was, just Teresa's? Let's just clean up Teresa's now and leave all the other blood. What's
Just
why?
Teresa's hair, her blood, her fingerprints, her skin
Yeah.
cells.
Oh, where's her skin cells now?
Right.
Why aren't they flying off of her when she's getting shot? Why aren't you finding skin cells there?
Or horrifically murdered in the bedroom, being cut,
Yeah.
throat cut, and all that. No, I mean, like, yeah, it's ridiculous that I don't understand how it got that far to court. I really don't.
Yeah. So they're talking about how he had 4 days to clean up. Really, he had 4 days. He had however many days to clean up. 4 days.
But he didn't.
But
But he
he-
didn't get rid of the rat.
But he didn't bother to get rid of the blood in the RAV, even.
Right.
Yeah. Really?
He got rid of her skin cell DNA, but he didn't get rid of the RAV or anything in the RAV, or his sweat DNA on the
Yeah.
latch.
Right. But I guess he was spending all that extra time putting all the dust back where it goes,
Right.
so
That's
it
important.
didn't appear disturbed. So that there's that, man, I could see that taking a long time.
It's hard.
It's
yeah.
just
it's impressive.
So stupid. So so as far as the bleach on the jeans, that doesn't mean anything. So what? Brendan was helping clean up some kind of stain in the garage. It was a transmission leak because they were working on the
You have no
transmission.
proof- You have no proof that the stain on the bleach on the pants even happened that night. It could have happened a week ago.
Right.
It
Right.
could have happened after the fact. It could have happened whenever, So
Mhm.
like it's
I don't know. Like,
did they actually
it's like the fire. We don't know what the hell day that happened. They're trying to make all the things happen on the same day when they didn't. And I have not been through the calls enough to see if it's said anywhere around that time period. Brendan was over helping me clean up the garage floor. Do you guys know?
the what?
I've been listening to Steven's jail calls, and I was wondering, has anybody heard any jail calls where Steven is telling Jody that Brendan was over helping him clean up the garage floor? I think it exists, but I haven't come across it yet. So
I don't remember offhand
do you?
if he did in that, but I think he admitted that they were hanging out that night.
Yeah, right. I think they
Because
they
he
agree.
was helping him in the front yard. See, that's the thing. Steven was working on the front yard and the blue trailer. Like he was doing something in the blue trailer.
Yeah, Steven cleaning up using the rug doctor or whatever. It was a rug doctor. Steven cleaning up and using the rug doctor, and then it's making some kind of a noise. And I think that happened on the November 1st call, if I'm remembering right.
So, yeah.
November 1st, he's
Just
telling
like a day
Jody.
or two
Yeah,
after the 31st.
it would be the next day. It would be the day after, the 31st. It'd be the next day. He's talking to Jody about the rug doctor's making a weird noise and it's not working right or something. I think I'm gonna have to return it. And she's talking about, did you clean it? Did you try cleaning it? You're supposed to clean it. And he's like, oh, I didn't. Yeah, of course I cleaned like the rollers or whatever the hell. But he didn't know that he has to clean the inside of it too. So it was like, do you think that Jody knew and she was telling him to clean up after himself, the evidence, so they don't find it? No, that's not what she was doing. She was trying to tell him how to make the rug doctor stop making fucking noise because it's probably not broken. It's probably just needs to be cleaned, Like vacuum cleaners, when they get clogged up or whatever, they start squealing and shit and they're not sucking properly. You have to go and clean them out. It's kind of the same thing.
I have to go let the dogs back in.
Okay. So, yeah. Do you guys know Is there a call? Dee and Sheree, do you guys know if there's a call that says Brendan was over helping me clean up the garage floor or anything like that? What day it was?
I can't remember whether there was a call or not, but I remember hearing that it was before, somebody thought it was before the 31st that cleaning the garage happened, but I'm not sure whether they got that from a call or what.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I didn't listen to calls before the 31st, and I should have done that. I need to find those because I think you're probably right. It probably did happen before. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I said Barb wasn't home that night, so she couldn't have seen his jeans when he got home. Yeah, Brendan would know when he helped Stephen clean the garage better than she would. Brendan was always helping Stephen do things. So we know that's true. So it wouldn't, there's no damn telling what day it happened. There's no damn telling what day there was a fire, other than there's other people who talk about the fire being on another day. The bonfire being on another day because they were planning to make it kind of like an event instead of just be burning normal trash. They were planning to make it into some sort of an event. Invite your friends from school, whatever. Invite your girlfriend. Get Kayla over and probably Marie. Get the girls over. And Earl would not let Kayla go to the bonfire because he didn't like the way that he thought that she was becoming obsessed with Stephen. So there's that. Gosh, I want to get into talking about that too, about how Kayla flipped. Because I know it was because the cops convinced her that Stephen was guilty. What?
What's interesting is that they said that they didn't like how she was being obsessed with Stephen. Like, are they indicating that they knew about what was happening with Marie? Like, obviously they did.
They did, yeah. Yeah. Because that was supposed to have stopped by then.
I guess they saw, because wasn't Kayla much younger than Marie?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But, Steven's like the cool uncle or whatever. They want to go over and hang out with Steven. He's always hanging out with the kids. He's trying to teach them and, he's having bonfires where they can come over and hang out and just be kids and have fun, doing stuff that he probably did when he was a kid. And, well, he did do, we know. And he's the fun uncle.
And I don't know, because I know every situation's different, and I don't want to, I don't know, but, if I was the parent and I thought anything nefarious was happening with my minor children, I would, no matter who it was involving, I would have called the cops.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's weird to me how they're like, oh, well, Stephen could be doing these really awful things to Marie and now Kayla.
Yeah.
But we're not going to involve law enforcement and have it taken care of.
Yeah.
And when they did finally get law enforcement involved, they decided to stop it.
Yeah.
They dropped the charges or whatever.
I mean, I get that. I think at that time that they were trying to force Marie and she was refusing to cooperate, because she loved Stephen. She didn't want to stop seeing him. She didn't want him to get into trouble because she knew that she was, even though she was a minor, she was making her own choice to do that. It wasn't him forcing, that's how it was to her, so. And I think that Earl and Candy knew that. They just didn't like it and they couldn't really stop it. They kept seeing each other anyway. But
Yeah.
and then finally, when they, when Stephen got arrested for killing Teresa, supposedly, I think that's when they tried to convince her Stephen's a bad dude. He's a bad dude. Stop protecting him and tell you were a minor, and that's rape. What he did, and do something. And I think that's how they finally got her to agree to do something.
I mean, if it really happened, then he should be held accountable for that. If it really truly happened, that way.
I think it happened. Yeah.
So, like, I'm not trying to protect, like, and that's the other thing, people are like, well, you're just trying to protect Stephen from blah, blah, blah. No, I mean, if he's really guilty of something, then he should be held accountable for it.
He should, yeah.
But the problem is that everybody was so, like, involved and messed with things too much that now what's the truth and what's not the truth? Where's the evidence that this happened, They, nobody has evidence that this happened, not even where the pictures even. Apparently they were destroyed by the family. So
I think Stephen destroyed the pictures. I think he
I've
did,
heard
yeah.
Earl destroyed them. I think Stephen said he got a hold of them and destroyed them. But just, So, the pictures were just them goofing around apparently, and just being inappropriate, but not being nothing that was illegal, I don't think, other than the alcohol.
Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't have been writing on her chest, or she's just wearing a sports
it's
bra.
But
But that doesn't mean anything sexual happened at that time. But pouring alcohol down her throat and writing on her, kind of bare chest, that's completely all inappropriate, illegal.
It's inappropriate. I don't think it's illegal though.
Yeah, I don't know if it's illegal to do something like that, but definitely giving her alcohol, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
They could have done something, but they didn't want to do it. And she, but there was a picture of it, so she didn't have to, go along with it and say, yeah, I want to do something. There's a picture.
Technically, even if the family dropped the charges or like dismissed it or whatever, the state could have pursued it themselves. So
Right.
The state even decided not to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think that in the end, and maybe Cherie can answer this, but I think in the end, when Marie finally decided to go along with it, I think that the reason why they dropped it, or not really dropped it, but they postponed or whatever, I don't know how they did it, but I think that was because they thought they were good. They're good. They're going to get him on this murder, but let's save this just in case, like, he gets some low amount of time and we want to add more time to him, or let's save this in case he gets acquitted. Let's save this. Let's wait, and not do that first. Let's hold on to it like a little ace up their sleeve, kind of, for later if they need to use it. But do you know, Cherie, like, why that was not pursued?
No, I always thought it was because they didn't. I thought they probably would have pursued it as more stuff to make Stephen look bad, but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
Jack would probably be better at answering that than me. Or Becca, she knows a lot about Brendan's side of the case.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's interesting is because, like what Cherie said, you would think they would pursue it to make it look worse for Stephen in the end, because that's pretty damning evidence to have, and they're trying to build this case to make Stephen look like this perverted sex offender who ought out Teresa to do this, blah, 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 blah. They tried to get Jody to admit that he was a sexual deviant even with her.
Right.
Like, he forced you to have sex multiple times a day, even if you didn't want to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they really, tried. But then here's this Marie thing, and they just completely and totally didn't touch it. So it's very curious as to why they didn't do it. Because it could have been used against, it could have. If they prosecuted him for the Marie thing, they could have used it in the Teresa case as proof that he was this, monster.
I have a question. It is when Stephen was acquitted, when the DNA came out in the Penny case, and he was acquitted. Is that the right word?
Yeah, I think.
I don't. Whatever. I don't know what the right word. What was it?
He was exonerated. If
Exonerated.
you're talking about in 2003.
Yeah. So when he was exonerated for that, during that 85 case, didn't they try him for Sandra Morris and for what he did to Penny at the same time?
No.
Allegedly.
No, they dropped the Sandra Morris thing, I think.
Well, I don't know why they would. He was a.
It was in the process of the Sandra Morris thing, and then the Penny Bernstein thing happened.
How did he become a felon? I thought he became a felon because of the Sandra Morris thing.
Maybe it was Sandra Morris then. Yeah,
So
maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, so I thought that those were tried together. Those two different things were tried together, and that's what made him a felon, because he was still guilty. Yeah, because he was still guilty of that. But I think when he was exonerated, I heard someone say he was exonerated, but shouldn't that have wiped that felony off of him too? No,
he was
but
in the Sandra Morris thing.
Right, but since they were tried together and he was exonerated, shouldn't it?
It was just exonerated of the rape charges.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Can you go back and just say, okay, well, there's
Yeah,
multiple charges, we can drop just this one and not the rest?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, that explains that, I guess. Because I've always wondered. I've heard that wasn't possible. He's exonerated. That's it. Like all the charges. So he shouldn't have been a felon.
The reason why he was in prison for so long was because of the rape charges, so that he refused to. When he would go up for parole, he would refuse to admit that he was guilty of that, and that's one of the criteria for parole is you have to show remorse, you have to admit to guilt.
Right.
So it was the rape charges that were keeping him in prison. But for all intents and purposes, if he was charged for the Sandra Morris thing, he already did his time for that at that point.
Yeah. Okay. So I was wondering if that person who said that was right about. Well, then he wouldn't have been a felon, and then they would have arrested him wrongfully, I guess.
Each charge comes with a sentence, with a time.
Okay.
Sentence, so.
Okay. That totally makes sense to me. So next time I hear that, at least I'll know how to respond. But I remember reading that and I was like, maybe.
Well, that's why the whole Penny Bernstein thing overshadowed the Sandra Morris thing, because
Right.
Like, I thought they dropped it and pursued just the Penny Bernstein, but I think you're right, because that's how he got technically he is considered a felon because of the weapons charge.
Yeah. All right.
I'll be right back again. The dogs are acting now.
Okay. So Mary 303030 asks, anyone else think Teresa was possibly a plant from the police or government? I think it was a fairy up all along because of the lawsuit. What do you think about that? Think Teresa was a plant? Anybody? I don't. I don't think she was. I think she was just trying to do a job. Makes sense. She's doing a job in something that she loves to do. She's a photographer. She was trying to make some extra money while she's trying to start a business of her own, while she's gaining clients and stuff like that, and getting her name out with her photography. So
yeah, it's that's one of those things like, okay, well, there's motive to do something like that, but um, the real stretch becomes like the opportunity because, like, how do they plant her going out to Stevens? You know, it would have to be more like a thing like, we wish we could just make Steven go away so he can't sue us. And, you know, just happen to notice that some young lady's coming out to the junkyard or to Stevens to take some pictures, and then they'd have to move into action right then and there to do something about it. Otherwise, they'd have to plan the whole thing out that she would be there at some time that they could do something, and that becomes even more difficult because of the circumstances. So yeah, there's motive, but it would have to be one of those things where like there just happened to be opportunity in some actor, you know, like maybe Colburn or somebody was just like, hey, here's some lady broke down to the side of the road. What if I just whacked her over the head and blamed it on Avery? You know?
Yeah.
That to me, that's like the most likely possibility, but I still find that doubtful. It'd have to be. There'd have to be more, I think. It's possible, but it's not like it's not one of those things where you could like convince me on it.
So I think maybe I understood it wrong, but she said I mean set up all along.
Yeah, that'd be even harder. That'd be even harder because, like, when would they decide to use Teresa as a victim for the setup? And
I just
you know, that'd be a lot of details. I mean, it's certainly something worth exploring, you know, but there's a lot of questions that have to be answered to go through that kind of conspiracy.
It'd be hard to prove, but I just can't see, you know, the cops having anything to do with killing her. I think that's much.
They're not that bright, to be honest. I think that's giving them a little too much credit.
Yeah.
From what I've seen in their work.
So she says, how long was Teresa going out to the salvage yard? How long was previous photographer going to the Avery salvage? Why did the other one stop going and Teresa comes in? I don't know the answer. How long has Teresa? I used to know, because I remember when, what's her name? What the hell was her name? Deb. What was the first photographer's name? The one that said he creeped her out.
Kathy Williford.
Yes, Kathy. Thank you. I only know of one time that Kathy Williford went out to the salvage yard, just the one that she described. But it was right after that, I think, that she turned it over to Teresa, I believe, because she gave Teresa the camera that she was using. Yeah, Teresa
only
likes
been there one other time, or?
No, Teresa had been there several times, but Kathy Williford, they were asking how long had each of them been going out there, and I don't know the answer to that, but I think Teresa, there was a date that we know, I just don't remember what it was, when Kathy Williford turned over the camera to Teresa and she took over her area. I just don't remember what that date was. I don't remember.
I don't either. But recently, I don't know, within the last couple of months, on open mic that Jack was playing, where she called in and they kind of did a phone interview. And if I remember correctly, the reason why it seems like it might have been because she wanted to stay home and take care of her kids. I don't know. I can't remember, but you might want to track down that call at some point, because that's where she kind of tells her story.
Who is she calling? Do you know?
No, just calling in. All I don't remember is she was talking to a detective.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we know that. You know, if anything, I would think she was the plant, but why didn't she stick around and why was Teresa brought in? I still find it really strange that she was like a special agent for the DOJ at some point, and then she ends up being a photographer for Auto Trader. It just sounds crazy. And I think her reason for that was she wanted to have more time with her kids. So she took on a job that she could kind of have more days off and be at home more. It was kind of a part-time thing, where she'd go like maybe work 1 or 2 days a week, I think. Like Teresa, Monday and Thursday, if I remember right. I don't know. So that, okay, I could see that, taking on a part-time job that so you could be at home with your kids. But then I don't know why she didn't keep doing it. But she's the one that said that Stephen creeped her out. Those were her words, not Teresa's. Teresa thought that Stephen was a nice guy. Those are Teresa's words. So it was really upsetting when I saw Convicting a Murderer, where I think her name's Trinity. No, that's not Trinity. It was Teresa's cousin, I believe. Anyway, one of Teresa's friends or her cousin, one of them said that Teresa said that Stephen creeped her out to them. I don't believe that. I think that's one of those things like with the fire and with the cleaning of the floor. It's one of those things that somebody has put in their head, saying it so many times that Teresa said Stephen creeped her out. That's what Kratz says, but that's not the truth. So I just have a problem with all this mixing up of very, very conveniently mixing up statements, which I think was kind of how I ended that comment. Unless you're trying to make it fit your bullshit Kratz fantasy about what happened, even though there's no evidence of any of it, you can't just try to make one part fit but ignore the rest. That's not okay. Okay, so that one little thing might fit, and but the rest of it has nowhere to go. It doesn't fit now because you put something in there that shouldn't have been there. Whatever it was, like, I just remember there was several different things like that. So that's the end of my comments, it looks like. Actually, probably not. I probably responded to some, but I'm not gonna. I have no idea which ones I would have responded to. But yeah, I just left several comments as I was watching the video. I was like, as she said something, because I wanted to make sure that I commented on each thing that was just really upsetting when I heard it. But yeah, I'd still like to talk to Brenda for several reasons.
Does she have it's probably a weird question, but does she have a website or something?
I don't know. Do you guys know?
You can look up? Or maybe some sort of
A Discord or something,
email?
maybe, or
Yeah.
But
Surely there's a way you can get a hold of her.
I know she's on Discord, but I don't know where she hangs out on Discord. I don't know.
No, she used to be in South Lake, but I don't think she's there anymore.
No, I don't think so. Well, I don't know. Maybe she is. I might be blocked, but maybe she is. She just doesn't comment or something. Well, let's see.
That's where they did the interviews, when she was
Do you know?
interviewing them.
Do you know what her name was in there in foul
No.
play?
Sheila might, or not Sheila.
Cherie?
Cherie might. Why do they call you Sheila? Sheila.
I know, I don't know what her name is. I don't think she's in Discord now, but I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I
I
didn't.
heard at one place it was BS in Wisconsin. But I
BS.
think that's
Okay.
the whole thing.
Let's see.
I think that was on Twitter too, huh?
BS. Well, let's start at the top. Nope. Hey, Barb's in there. I didn't know that. Cool.
Yeah, Barb's in there.
Sweet.
Yeah, no, I think there's got to be some like professional emails she has out there that we can find that maybe you can email her and maybe
Yeah.
plead your case as far as having like a professional conversation with her. And she doesn't seem like an unreasonable person to talk to like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
She doesn't seem that way, but I saw a comment that she left where she was kind of being a troll. You know, she was being rude and
Well, she seems
just like-
very like what condescending.
well, yeah, definitely in that. So they're talking. Was it because he had a towel on when he was in the pool that she? No. Okay. So Kathy Williford said that Stephen creeped her out because he invited her in out of the rain so he could fill out the form for his car, whatever he was selling. So she was like, "No, I'm not gonna."
Oh,
But that creeped her out. She thought, because they're not supposed to go inside people's houses, so it creeped her out that he invited her in out of the rain. What an
she
idiot!
didn't feel like she was in danger enough to like not go back.
Yeah, she didn't. But the
That also reminds me, they made a comment about how she said that he told her, well, if you play your cards right, I'll put you up on the wall or
that's
something like that.
that's with Teresa, yeah. Or was that with
Yeah.
Kathy Williford too? No.
So
Was
that
it?
was with Teresa.
Okay, yeah.
um,
So
But what we were just saying reminded me of that. So like,
Hmm.
but if you look through the crime scene video of them doing a walkthrough of Stephen's house, you don't see a wall.
there's
with
no fucking
half
wall.
naked women. Yeah. So like, where did that come from?
No wall, there's no dungeon, no sex dungeon, or fuck's sake.
Right.
He could have built it out there somewhere. They had lots of different
Well, but,
random.
It's not illegal to have your own personal sex dungeon for consenting adults.
Right. So,
That's what I'm saying.
right.
It's weird. But it's not illegal if everyone's consenting.
It's not weird.
Enjoying it, yeah. It's not weird. It's a little. I mean, I don't
I think it's more weird to borrow somebody else's. I think you should have your own, really.
That's that's so true. That would be very weird.
Hey,
Awkward.
Yeah, you mind if I come over this weekend? Yeah, I just want to use your dungeon.
Use your
Right.
use your sex dungeon. I'll bring
Right.
coffee along.
Ugh.
And use mine, but it's 30 right now.
Right. Shit.
Go places with
Yeah. So, so Kathy Williford is the one that said he creeped her out. The towel incident was Teresa. And she didn't say that creeped her out. She thought it was funny. And, and this is another thing that the guilters like to say. I don't know, can't say exactly if it was like Kratz or Brenda, but that they like to say that he was naked underneath there. He says
How would
he
they know?
wasn't. He had a towel around him. How would you know what he's got underneath there?
You sure?
Yeah, he could have had shorts on, but he had a fucking towel wrapped around him, so he's not exposed. So how would
I
you?
feel like if he was naked there and she somehow knew, she would have added that into the story.
Right,
And that would have been like, that's so funny.
right.
It would have been more like, oh my god.
But even if he was naked under the towel, it still would have been funny to me. I'd be like, Yo, I just was over doing a job and I came up and dude was in his pool and when he got out, he had a towel around him, but he was naked. I would have been like, "Ugh, ew," but it would have been funny. It's not like his dick was flopping around in her face or anything while he was signing papers. He was covered up, So yeah, I don't.
Well, that's what I mean. If he had any indication that he was naked under that towel, then I have a feeling that she would have said more about that.
Yeah,
Like if
right.
if he flashed her, or if he even mentioned like I'm not wearing any underwear.
Right,
So,
right.
and yeah, I feel like that would have been included in that story,
Which-
rather than if he was just signing and kind of a towel with a towel.
Yeah. He's
Well,
gotta go
I
get
would
money.
hope that Steve would hold out for at least a nice dinner before he starts showing the goods.
Start flashing when it comes to
God, right now he's a fucking flasher. Jeez, they've got him all kinds of fucked up. He's got enough problems on his own. He doesn't need help. But that is he's a
flasher.
he's a flasher
Watch
now.
out.
So hey, Nan's Life, Merry Christmas. Nan's Life linked the Kathy Williford call that Cherie was talking about. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. I'll definitely check that out. Actually, I'm gonna open it right now so I can watch it in a little bit. It's 8 minutes long. Do you guys want to watch it or you don't watch it? I guess listen to it. Do you guys want to listen to it? Let's
Yeah,
see.
nothing going on.
Okay, it says MTSO Jacobs. I don't either. I'm gonna have to try to figure that out. MTSO Jacobs. Oh, I know. I think I know. MTSO Jacobs calls former SA Special Agent Kathy Williford, November 3rd, 2005 to November 12th, 2005. Exact date, time unknown. So it's somewhere in between those dates when he calls. Jacobs makes phone contact with Williford and she relays her experience while working with AutoTrader and her one-time visit to the Avery Salvage Yard. I hope you get them, she tells Jacobs. Okay. All right, so, yeah. All right, I think I just need to make a new window.
Bring her that towel for a souvenir.
Yeah, just tell it.
Window capture. There we go.
Not creepy at all.
Right. Okay.
Oh, it's normal, not creepy.
All right. So I think hopefully that will work. Can you guys read the comments?
I don't have
Okay.
Let me go over there.
Okay.
I can see it.
Okay, can you let you guys let me know if you can hear it? I'm gonna play this now for just a second and see if you can hear it. No sound yet. There we go. Okay, do you guys hear that? That
No.
they're not. Oh, you guys don't hear it either? Oh shit.
Oh, wait. I hear it now. Wait.
Oh, you hear.
Play it again.
Okay. You hear,
Very faint, but I can hear
you hear the phone ringing? Did you hear the phone ringing?
it. Yeah.
Are you hearing it on YouTube or are you hearing it on here?
I can hear it on YouTube better, but there's a delay on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, shit, let's see. I don't know how to make it capture the sound. You would think that that would capture the sound. I don't know why it's not. So YouTube can hear it. So I guess if you guys want to hear it, maybe just listen to YouTube for just a minute. It's 8 minutes, so you got time to go over and listen to it or whatever. I'll turn it up. Here we go.
Hi, is Kathy there? Hi, Kathy. My name is Dennis Jacobs. I'm a detective with the Sheriff's Department of Manitowoc County.
Okay.
And you had called that you had the same job as our missing lady?
Yeah.
Okay. And
I'm just gonna step outside here.
sure.
Okay, Jack. So you can go ahead. I'm just gonna get outside.
Okay. Let me just get a couple of things before we actually start here. Is your name spelled with a C or a K?
What's your name?
And it's Kathleen?
No, this is Kathy.
Just Kathy. Which middle initial, Kathy?
D is in Dawn.
Okay. And it's Willeford?
Correct.
All right. What's your date of birth?
9/30/68.
And what's your home address?
N is in Nancy. 3126. Deer Creek Court. In Waldo.
What's the zip code in Waldo?
I-3093.
Okay. And then I got your home, and your home is 528-7755?
Correct.
Okay. And you had some experiences out at the Avery residence?
Well, yeah, I used to work in law enforcement. The only reason I'm calling is because I feel like I should.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if anything I have to tell you will help, but I thought it was worth a shot. So,
Okay.
in January 25th, I got a fax from Auto Trader telling me to go up and take a picture for Mr. Avery. I went up there, went to his residence, and I just remember, out of all the things I've ever done, I just felt real uneasy driving in because it's so remote out there.
Right.
And then the junkyard, and there were dogs barking.
Right.
So anyway, I drove in, saw his car, and I was supposed to take a picture of it. I think it was a Cutlass or something similar to that.
Uh-huh.
And he didn't come out of the mobile home, so I went up and knocked on the door. And,
Uh-huh.
I took pictures. He had it written up as narrative for the ad.
Okay, hang on just a minute. I'm trying to take notes.
Oh, sorry.
So, okay. So you went up to the door?
Yeah, I did. I turned around and parked. I think he had a pickup truck. I think he's got like a little shed off to the left.
Yeah, yeah.
He had a pickup there, so I pulled by his pickup and turned around facing out the park.
Okay.
I went up to the door and knocked. He came to the door. And I explained who I was. I was a small Auto Trader. I was there to take a picture of his car.
Uh-huh.
So it was winter, so he started up to warm it up, and while it was warming up, I said, I also need the narrative description of the car.
Uh-huh.
So they had. Oh, I forgot to do that. So we went back in the house and started to write it, and it took him forever. I don't know why, but it just took him a really long time. So I took my pictures, went up on the deck, and it was pretty cold out. And I was standing on his little, I think like a wood porch in front or something. And I was just breathing, like I was standing out there, and he came out and opened the door and said something to the effect of, well, why didn't you come inside? Because it's cold out. And I said, well, I appreciate that, but we're not allowed to go into residences when we do these. I mean, it just didn't feel right, and if you kind of see into the mobile home, and there was garbage, and if I remember correctly, there were like empty liquor bottles and stuff, and I thought, it just doesn't feel right. I didn't recognize his name at all, which is on my part.
Well, that happens. So you stood outside, and he finally came back?
And when he came out and asked me to come in, I said, no thanks. I went in the car, he started my car, and then he came back out and gave me the narrative. And then right before I left, he said, well, if this works out okay, I'm going to call you back, because my sister owns, I thought he said she owned the junkyard, the salvage yard there.
Right.
and she has a car that she might want to sell, and how can I get a hold of you? And I said, well, you just call the main auto trader number, and then, you know, they'll get a hold of me. He was like, okay, and I took off, and I don't know, this gut feeling was not good. I drove out of there fast. It just sticks out of all the pictures I've done, and, you know, everything I've done in law enforcement, it just didn't feel right.
Okay.
And then Teresa actually came to my house in June and picked up all my, you know, my fax machine, all my equipment and stuff. So I only met her the one time. And she came to get my gear and stuff. So I just felt bad when I heard it on the news. I don't know if it could help you at all.
So she's only been doing this since June?
No, she worked prior to that. She covered Brown County. And then in June when I quit, she was also covering my territory, which was Sheboygan, Manitowoc, and Calumet County. So she was working prior to that, but now they just gave her a bigger area.
Okay. Alrighty.
The only reason I'm even telling you this is because it just makes me think that when they called to have her come up, they knew a woman was coming up.
Sure. Okay.
So I don't know much about the case, but I hope
Right.
if there's something with that family, I hope you get it.
Well, we hope so too.
I just did not get a good read on him out there yet. I feel really bad for him. I feel like in some ways it could have been me, and I'm glad I never went back on the second call.
Okay. Somebody may want to talk with you later and get more of a detailed interview and a statement.
Okay.
I will pass this on because technically Calumet is the lead agency. But that's just because of the conflict of interest with the current lawsuit and stuff.
Right.
So I will pass this on to I'm actually working with a Calumet detective, so I'll pass this on to him. You may have a state agent show up to talk to you.
What office are you out of?
I'm out of Manitowoc County.
You are, okay.
Yeah, see, he's got that lawsuit for the wrongful imprisonment and all that
Right.
against Manitowoc County.
So the state took it over?
Well, the state and Calumet County, and we are all working together on it. The Calumet is officially the lead agency.
Would it be the state DCI?
Yeah.
I used to work for D&E. Their sister agency.
Okay, sure.
So, cool.
Yeah, you might have somebody from the state come down and talk to you. I'm not sure who. Okay? Tom Fossbender is the guy at
The state?
from the state that's the lead contact. Do you know Tom at all?
I've met him. I didn't work with him much because I worked out of the Milwaukee office.
Yeah, he's working out of the Appleton office, so. Okay. I will pass this on, and like I said, somebody might follow up with you a little later.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Okay. So. All right. So, what do you guys think about all that mess? Did you guys hear it? Listen to it? Uh-oh. There we go. Are we back?
So I missed it, that part. Did you say why she quit? Kathy say why she quit in June?
I didn't hear her say that. There we go.
Okay.
I didn't hear her say that. I heard most of the call, but I took Arrow out probably about halfway through. And I heard the end of it. But I did hear her say it was cold, not raining. Sorry. I was wrong about that. So it was cold out. And he invited her in. And she said something about, and if I remember right, there was liquor bottles all over. Stephen wasn't a big drinker, so I don't think that's true. I can't imagine that being true at all. So, I don't know. Hopefully I've got this sorted out right. because I'm still seeing me messing up shit on on the YouTube video. Yeah. Hey, random pieces. Merry Christmas. Hey, J-Jax is back. He thinks Jacobs is a tool. As far as Kathy's interview, it was irrelevant. Hey, J-Jax, random pieces. Anybody want to come on here? Jody wasn't in jail at the time. Yeah. So, oh, oops, that's the wrong link. Sorry. Hold on, let me get a link. Make sure everybody... Yeah, Jody's the drinker. But did she drink booze? I mean, I don't know what she drank when she drank. Does anybody know what she drank? But still, I can't imagine all the, like empty liquor bottles everywhere. Maybe she did. Maybe she was one of those people that drank like booze and she saved the bottles for some reason. I don't know. Thank you, random pieces. Yeah, I don't... Cherie just asked J-Jax if he knows why she quit. And he's not sure, so... Yeah, we're trying to figure out why she only went out there the one time. And did you guys hear her say that she was creeped out? Or was that just somebody's interpretation of what she said that they wrote in a report? Did Jacobs write a report that said that she was creeped out by this? Okay, cool. J-Jax is coming on in a couple minutes.
He'll have some answers for you.
Good. Because what was my question? I lost it. I just lost whatever question I just asked. I can't.
Did she actually say she was creeped out, or was that something that was inferred?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm okay, you know what? I gotta get rid of this. How do I delete this? Delete. How do I make it go away? I need to make this... How do I make it go away? Oh, there we go. Sorry, you guys. I was showing the wrong stupid window because I'm dumb and I don't know how to work this OBS. So I was showing this repeat of a window going on. Oh, Nan's Life has a question. Don't y'all think that someone who used to work for law enforcement being creeped out by a guy answering a door in a towel a bit of a stretch? Okay, yeah, he wasn't in a towel. It was that he invited her in is what gave her, she just was creeped. She was creeped out by how long he was taking to fill out the form, and she could see inside that it was, garbage everywhere, and just that he invited her in out of the cold. That's what creeped her out. She said just didn't feel right. She didn't know him, blah, 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 all that stuff. So, yeah. Teresa was the one that saw him get the door in a towel. Like, he answered the door in a towel. But Teresa didn't say she was creeped out by it. But that's what we were just talking about a little bit ago in Nan's Life, that I was upset by them saying that and convicting a murderer. One of Teresa's friends actually says that, or her cousin, I don't remember which, says that Teresa told her that she was creeped out by him, answering the door in a towel. That's Kratz's words. That's not Teresa's words. Teresa didn't say that. So Brenda or anybody, show me where Teresa actually said that. I bet you can't. You can't. But there is trial testimony where the girl that Teresa told this story to, she says that Teresa just kind of was like, ew, and, kind of laughed about it. That's what Teresa's words were. It was not creeped out. It wasn't anything else. Yeah, being courteous is creepy now. Exactly. There, did she not say Teresa started her route in June? Yeah, she did. So she went out to Avery's one time, and then when she was done, she I guess Teresa took over her area, and so she gave over all of, and that's what I don't understand. If Teresa was already working for Auto Trader, she would have already had probably all the equipment. So why did she take Kathy's equipment over? I don't understand that.
Good point.
And then what did she do with her equipment? Or did, like, I don't get it. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things like whoever's working that area has to have this specific equipment, which doesn't make sense because, you know, a camera's a camera. The only thing, a fax machine's a fax machine. The only thing that might matter is the little, what are those called? Not flash drives, memory cards or whatever that they use to send in all the pictures that they've taken. Yeah, Random Pieces says, I bet quite a few people she visited resulted in an ooh given her age. Probably so, yeah. Yeah.
God, it's so creepy.
I know. Oh, so creepy because he was in a towel. I shouldn't even repeat that because that's bullshit. Hey, J-Jax.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey. Okay, what was the question D. Peterson asked him because I forgot again.
Did she actually say she was creeped out, or was that something inferred in the report? Or by the detective?
Well, Jacobs didn't make a report. He wrote no reports.
Okay.
Well, he took notes or whatever in the interview.
It-
I mean, the real question is, did she actually say that to the
No,
interview?
I think it was more of she kind of inferred it.
Yeah.
You know, driving in and that kind of thing. I don't think she necessarily said she was creeped out per se. It was more of like you said, inferred.
Yeah, she definitely said, like, it just didn't feel right to me. I didn't want to, you know, go in. It didn't feel right. Right. That's what she was saying. So,
Well, you know, I think Avery was, I mean, just from what I could gather of what she said, he's never talked about it, but, you know, it was cold in January or February in Wisconsin. It's cold. Trust me. It's like it is here.
oh yeah.
Snow on the ground. It's, you know, the wind whipping, which I'm sure it was. The wind always blows here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure it was cold as hell outside, and he's like, step inside, you know, don't stand there and freeze.
Right, exactly. Because he was taking a
And-
long time. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know what Jody drank per se, but I do know she did drink beer for sure. I
Okay.
can only imagine she
Thought
drank
so.
liquor, but as far as I know, Steve didn't drink, or if he drank beer.
Right. So what, I guess what the question is, who is the one that used that term creeped out first? Was that Kratz? Or was that in a report? I think it was Kratz.
Probably.
Kratz was using Kathy Williford's impression of Stephen as being Teresa's, I guess, and, you know, wherever the hell he said it in the trial. I don't remember, but
Well, you know, the whole Don Plisga thing about, you know, coming out in just a towel, which we don't know if that's true at all.
right. I mean, unless you can see his schlong hanging out, how do you know he's in just a towel?
That's right.
I don't see how you could.
Plus, he had a pool. He had that pool outside.
Right.
He could have just gotten out of the shower. You know, there's
I think he said he just gotten out of the pool, but who gives a shit? You know, most people don't go into the pool naked, but
that's
maybe
right.
he did. You know, maybe he did.
Yeah.
Who the hell cares? He's on his own property. Nobody's around. Nobody could see. Maybe he did
Right.
go in there. And so he put a towel around him. But even if he had trunks on, you know, wrapping a towel around himself because he's dripping wet, right? And he's coming out of his house. So,
Well, the inversion is it was just a towel, not a towel on.
right. And I don't
Just
think
give me,
Teresa ever said that.
And you know, talking about Jacobs, you playing this call. I mean, there's a lot of things about Jacobs. I'm not sure that you are aware of this. Also, there's another call that he makes to SBC. Now, SBC is a phone company, and law enforcement can get, you know, they do get records from, you know, these various phone companies. Anyway, he calls because he's trying to find out phone call information. I say phone call addresses for a certain number for Teresa, and he basically gets away with it without a warrant because he has to go through this process. It's in this call. It's in the playlist somewhere. It's probably, it may be in the key calls. I think it is actually. He goes through this process of getting through to the security end of SBC, and she basically says, well, you know, we require a warrant, you know, paperwork to get this, and you know, he said, well, I can get you that. It'll be in the morning, and he says, well, I'm off, and anyway, she ends up giving it to him anyway without the warrant.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So, you know, this guy, plus he's the one that allegedly went back to the zippers and recorded a phone message, which we've never been able to get our hands on. The zipper voicemail.
What records exactly was it that they gave him?
Remember Teresa lived in Green Bay,
Yeah.
right?
Or
Okay.
she lived
Yeah,
in...
she lived.
Oh, yeah.
she lived in-
Apartment, yes. I remember that.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That number there, of course, she had moved, but that number was attached to, I can't remember the guy's name, Van Hoovel or...
Yeah. He was...
I can't remember. Anyway, they got that number that's attached to this guy because he apparently had that number now. But anyway, that's the information that, as I recall, that this operator at SBC gave to Jacobs. But it doesn't matter who it is. Getting the information at all without a warrant first.
Yeah, fruit of the poisonous tree, right? Wouldn't it be?
Well, how do they? It's not right. And if he's done it, if they've done it for him, who's to say they haven't done it for other law
Exactly.
enforcement officials? I mean, come on.
Exactly.
Let's see if I can find that call.
That's not right.
No.
So, J-Jax, do you know anything about OBS?
I do.
Okay, so I have a window capture source on here that showed the video window, and it was playing, I guess, on YouTube, the call, but I don't think that the people in here could hear it.
You have to
Is
unmute
that-
YouTube. They have to unmute YouTube if you're streaming from Discord.
Okay.
They have to unmute YouTube in order to hear it.
Okay. So that wasn't something I did wrong then. Okay, that's
No.
what I thought. Okay, good. I actually did something right, but then I messed it up after.
Key calls. Let's see here.
Yeah, Ken Kratz used a lot of creative make-believe stories. That's why I've said there's people. I was one of them. There's people that know his own case is better than he does because he gets this information. I don't know if it's intentional or if it's just that he's getting mixed up, but he gets information mixed up. People, saying that Teresa said she was creeped out when it was Kathy Williford, saying that the bus driver saw Teresa on the 31st when that's not what she said. It was the 10th. So just little things like that, just little things makes a big difference. Those little things all are pointing to Stephen being a creepy dude and he did something bad. And here's some more proof to just back all that shit up. I just don't like it. It's dirty. It's dirty using other people's words in that way to make it look different. Liars get stuff mixed up naturally. Yeah. Exactly. Thank you, Random Pieces. If I saw that today at 55, I would tell them to put it away. See, I would just laugh. I wouldn't care if they came to the door just swinging it. I would immediately start laughing because that's awkward and funny. I'm sorry, it's funny. I would be laughing too hard to be offended. You know. I could just imagine that. But if somebody came to came to the door in a towel, I don't think I would react like that. I think I would just react like I didn't see anything. I'm not, the last thing I'd be doing is looking to see if there's something under the towel. I'm not going to be looking there. So I'll be looking over here like, here's your stuff, sir,
Yeah. Did you know you were bat swinging in the wind there, sir? Thank you.
Swing and a miss.
Exactly.
I think if you're in your own house, you're on your own property, you can do whatever you want. I mean,
Yeah.
it may not be classy, but
Yeah.
if I'm getting paid to be there to take some pictures, I mean,
Right.
I ain't gonna complain that much,
You want to take some pictures of you? I mean, she took those kind of pictures. You may take some pictures of you, sir. Pose in your towel. Yeah, exactly. Hey, I take pictures like that. Yeah.
Let me just get my zoom lens. I'll be right back.
Right. God, my telescopic
I'm gonna need
lens.
some more lighting.
Micro photography, is that what you're saying?
God.
Telephoto lens.
Wow. Nan's Life said it was 8 degrees there, but felt like -5. Holy shit. Good grief. It's only 37 here. And that's
It's 52 here right now.
yeah, it was like in the 50s yesterday. It felt nice. I was out there in shorts and a t-shirt just outside,
It was
bebopping.
65 yesterday and today here.
Yeah.
I'm north of you.
Yeah, the temperature just dropped today because it was raining all day. So, yeah. So I was like, that's another thing. I'm already sick. I'm not going anywhere in this stupid rain. Well, no, the rain started last night, and it was raining today too. But yeah, when the rain was starting, the temperature was dropping, and I think. It dropped quite a bit because it was in the 60s. I damn near turned on my air conditioner. It got up to like 70 in my house, and I was like, we're pushing it. That's my limit. Goes one more degree, I'm gonna turn it on. So I'm not fixing to be hot. 36 here and dropping random. Yeah, it's 36 here now, and I don't know what's supposed to happen. I have no idea. I thought for a second when I was outside just a minute ago that I felt little tiny sprinkles, like really lightly, like snow, like little teeny tiny pieces of snow. But I think I was imagining it. That's gonna be something I miss is white Christmases from up north. I love the snow. Well, I love looking at the snow.
Well, it's not white this year. This is one of the warmest. We've lived here 16, 17 years. This is probably the second warmest December that we've had. There's no snow. It did rain, but I think it got up to got in the 50s today. I know that.
Nice.
So, anyway, Allie, I dropped a link
Oh, you did?
in the MAM chat. Yeah, this is the
Oh, up here.
SBC. This is the Dennis Jacobs SBC call.
Okay.
Yeah, this is on 11/3, and you can see it's 21:55. That's 9:55 at night to 9:50. Anyway, you can see it there.
Okay. All right.
21:15, not 21:15, not 21:55. So it's 9:15, and this goes through 9:59. The call's 18 minutes long, but this is Jacobs when he
Ooh.
called SBC.
Oh, okay, okay. Do you guys? Yeah, all right. Let's listen to this. Let me give it a thumbs up while I'm here. I have not heard this. Here we go.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be complete. Please check the... Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the SBC Repair. For repair to your telephone service, press 1. For information or repair of caller ID or SBC voicemail, press 2. To speak to our business office, to place an order, or to discuss your bill, press 3. If you are a contractor or other utility and are calling to report that you have damaged SBC facilities, press 4. To discuss the outside telephone wiring serving your home or business, press 5. For all questions regarding SBC dish, press 6. To repeat this information, press star. Please hold while your call is being transferred to the next available repair representative. Calls are randomly monitored or recorded to ensure the quality of our service. If you have DSL service on your line, please be aware that we may need to conduct testing that may interfere with using our data service.
Thank you for calling SBC Repair. My name is Katie. May I have the area code and number you're reporting?
Hi, Katie. My name is Dennis Jacobs. I'm a detective with the Sheriff's Department here. I'm trying to get through to your security people.
Okay.
Is there any way that you can give me a number or transfer me or something?
Okay, Dennis, do you have a callback number?
Yeah, it's 920-683-4215.
Okay, and you're with what,
Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, Sheriff's Department.
just 1 minute? Dennis, is this the number you can be reached right back at?
Yeah, that 920 number I just gave you.
Okay.
That's
Just
my
for
office.
verification purposes, I'll need to disconnect the call and hang up and call you right back, and then I can get you over there, okay?
Not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
And Allie, this is part of the calls that we got in February last year.
Okay.
Detective Jacobs.
Hi, Dennis.
Yep.
Hi, this is Katie with SBC Repair.
Yes, Katie.
Okay, I only have a number for you.
Okay, go ahead.
1-800-832-2998.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks again for calling SBC. Have a good evening.
All right, bye-bye. Back security now.
Oh, baby.
We're sorry. You must first dial...
Oh, baby.
You have reached Asset Protection. Please hold. Your call is being transferred.
Give him kisses. Give him kisses. Kisses.
SBC Security, what's your emergency?
My name is Dennis Jacobs. I'm a detective with Manitowoc County, Wisconsin, Sheriff's Department. We have a missing adult, and we have a phone number that she made a fax from, but cannot. We're just trying to verify the phone number and where it is.
Are you requesting a listing, sir?
I'm sorry, what?
Are you requesting a listing?
If possible.
This is an emergency.
Yeah, she's 25 and has disappeared.
Okay, because I have to let you know that they require paperwork on this.
Okay, that's not a problem. I can get a subpoena in the morning.
Okay. Can you spell your last name for me, sir?
It's Jacobs, Jacobs.
Is your callback for the service?
Yeah, it's 920-683-4215.
And 4215?
Yes.
Okay, let me have any for the same line.
920-435-1367.
Almost killed me, dog.
Any access to system 7, you can call that back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye. Detective Jacobs.
Hi, FCC Security calling back.
Yes, ma'am.
This number is 920-435-1367.
Correct.
It's showing disconnected on our end.
Okay.
But I can give you the last known address for it.
Go ahead.
It's 215 South Quincy.
Okay.
It's apartment 3.
Do you have a name to go with that?
Last known person who had that number would have been Michael. Last name is Sullivan.
Okay.
Space D-E-N. Space H-U-R-E-U-C-E-L.
Give me the last one again.
H is in Harry, the letter E, U is in user, V is in victory, E-L, Larry.
Vanden Heuvel, I think.
I believe so, you're just as smart.
Well, I know there's a registered sex offender by that name, because I arrested him.
Oh, good. That's great to know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's an ugly business sometimes. Can you tell me when it was disconnected?
It was last month.
Okay, that would make sense, because the last communication we had with her was a fax that she sent from that number a couple minutes after midnight on the 31st. Okay,
What a coincidence.
thank you. Are you gonna need paper on this?
Our day should, we don't take care of them, we should, our day should do this call for that.
Okay, so they may call me. Well, if you want to leave a note, then I'm off tomorrow. So, well, maybe.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Vanden Heuvel.
What a strange coincidence, isn't it?
Kevin Busher?
Hey, Mark, we better,
I can check who's calling. This is Dennis Jacobs from Massillon County. Hold on. At a cell phone. Sure, hold on, please.
So you just said that she was faxing a sex offender that he had arrested?
She took over a phone number for her fax machine or whatever that used to belong to a registered sex offender, I believe.
No.
Oh.
The fax number that Teresa had belonged to this Vanden Heuvel, and Jacob says, "Oh, well, I arrested some." He pronounced the last name correctly. He said, "Well, I arrested Michael Vanden Heuvel, but it may not be the same guy. There's more than one."
Okay.
Which we found out in later subsequent phone calls.
Okay.
But for him to even say that,
He shouldn't have said that, yeah.
Not very
and
professional.
he just can't help himself and say, "Oh, well, I'm a big detective. I arrested him last month."
Yeah. Yeah, he's a registered sex offender. All right.
And why is he giving her any case details at all? I mean, to me, it's just
I don't know.
it's just so. Well, he's not the only one. There's another one, and you haven't listened to those calls yet either. This Lieutenant Syme for MTSO, he's got a big mouth too, a huge mouth. Anyway,
Mhm.
I'll shut up.
Should we keep listening to this? Is there more?
I can't remember what else. This is basically covering a time slot,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and for MTSO, you can see it's from 9:15 until whatever that is, 55 or 59, whatever the hell it is. It's
Mhm.
covering that hour for MTSO on the 3rd.
Okay.
I don't.
Um,
You can if you want. But
Yeah, I want to listen to the next call where Jacobs calls Uyghur. I want to see what he tells him.
He's going to tell him about this call here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to see what he says.
Hey, Mark.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm good. I got a hold of Veritech or FCC Security.
Okay.
I got a name.
Okay, hold on one. All right, go ahead.
Michael. And it looks like it's Vanden Heuvel. It's V-A-N and capital B-E-N. And the last name spelling is Henry Edward Union Victor Edward Lincoln.
Okay, Van Pool.
I got an address, which is 215 South Quincy, apartment number 3, Green Bay.
Okay.
And give me a second, I'm going to run them through Accurate. That phone would have been disconnected at the first of the month.
Okay, because the fax comes from that phone number on the 31st.
Right, but it would have been canceled at the first, on either at midnight, or November 1st.
Well, that's freaking weird.
Well, I got him. Looks like he's born in either 63 or 53. I got a 71 here too. Vanden Heuvel. I got one in Green Bay, a Michael J, who was born in 71. That's probably going to be, I got one that was born in 77. But he's living in Seymour. I'm trying to match up the address.
Well, the way it looks from AutoTrader, she faxed her last stuff in on the 31st at 12:13 a.m. I believe, to 0013 at 12:13 a.m.
Right.
And then she goes out the next day and does those other appointments, and then that's the last year. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have GDPD go over to Quincy and see who's living there and who they can tell me.
Yeah.
Okay,
215 South Quincy, apartment 3.
got it.
But if the phone got disconnected on the first, he might have also moved out.
Yeah, that's very possible. So I'll do some checking on that end.
Mark, do the parents know any of her friends by name?
None of them. She's got a lot of friends from when she went to college in Green Bay. The parents don't know really any of them, is what they told me.
Well, we got one here. Let me give you the information I have, because he's probably the most likely one, I would think. His middle initial is J. John,
Okay.
and DOB is 0415 of 77.
Okay.
That's the youngest one of the bunch here.
She was born in 80.
Otherwise, our choices are 54, 44, 31, 49. Not likely, I would think.
I would think not.
Should be the youngest one. According to Mom and Dad, she doesn't have a boyfriend?
No boyfriend that they're aware of. No. According to friends, she doesn't have a boyfriend.
None of the friends have seen her, obviously, huh?
No.
Does she have a good friend, best friend, girlfriend?
There were two of her, what I believe have been her best friends from the area here, and they haven't heard from her, seen her. Also state that they don't believe she had a boyfriend.
Okay. Mark, what's your cell phone number?
Okay, let's not play the rest of that.
Yeah. you know, they looked it up. I remember, and as I said, there's more than one, and I think he ended up choosing the one closest to Teresa's age.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just jumping to me. It's just jumping the gun so quickly. And again, Jacobs didn't write any of this up. Nothing. He didn't write up anything about the zipper voicemail, of course. Nothing. He did. He's done all this stuff in the background. I mean, this 3 or 4 pieces right now. I mean, I can rattle off right now. He didn't write a single report. And then, of course, we got the. Well, do we have a body yet? Is Stephen ever in custody yet?
Yeah.
Which is complete bullshit.
So we have a question. Hi all. Hugh Fraser says, has anyone looked into Michael Vanden Heuvel in depth? My impression is that he was worth a much closer look than he got. He died from Huntington's chorea, sometimes associated with violence. I've never heard of that.
No.
I haven't. I haven't looked into him. I wouldn't know where to begin, like which one they see, because I never heard that call before, so I wouldn't know which one they chose or even how to find. That's not what I do. I don't find things like that.
Well, I mean, we could look at, the court records to see if there's any kind of history there that's freely available. Of course, you got to have some. I mean, we've got pretty much all the information from that caller. We probably would need to find him.
Yeah.
If he has a record.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I've never looked into him. No.
Yeah.
Look far deeper into Brad Check.
Yeah, I did too with Bradley Check. I looked way into him as far as I could go.
I got a bunch of records on him and Casey. So
yeah, I saw all their records. Well, I didn't see the records. I saw that they had a lot of stuff going on in the courts. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good at all.
Yeah. Well, I think what I ended up finding out was that Casey she was the problem. She was the aggressive one.
Well,
she was the one that liked to fight.
No.
No.
No, they had issues, and the biggest issue was they were pretty good until they got married, and he became really controlling of her life. I mean, like really controlling, and to the point. I mean, they were young. They were still young, and they didn't have any children, and she still liked to go out and party and have fun. And I'm not talking about going out and dating a bunch of people. I'm just talking about going out and dancing and just having fun, socially. And he didn't really want to do that anymore. He wanted to stop, and he didn't want her to go either. But so it caused problems. Anyway, they ended up splitting for about 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then ultimately they got back together. But in the meantime, she had slept around a bit. I mean, not like she wasn't prostituting herself or anything, but she had a good time,
Right.
Well, anyway, after they got back together,
And he probably did too.
Well,
Sure. Huh?
not according to him. No.
No.
Not really.
Hmm.
No, not really. And she basically said, let's just clean slate it. Let's just move on and enjoy our lives. She didn't want to discuss anything that had happened. She just wanted to try to have a good life with him. And Anyway, he kept on pestering her about what she had done during this time, and she ended up telling him, and he flipped the gourd, flipped his wig, and really became controlling after that. Wouldn't trust her for anything, and that ultimately led to her leaving.
So
it was bad.
Where did you find all this information?
Well, I ordered court documents.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that'd be
in that county.
That'd be interesting to see. Well, I got my information from friends of theirs. friends of theirs were saying that she was the problem, and she was making up things like for the restraining order or order of protection or whatever. Like she lied about it.
Oh, well, I mean, that some of that element could very well be true, but he was calling her I mean, this is testimony according to, what I can remember that she said.
Mm-hmm.
He was calling her and contacting her. He wouldn't leave her alone. It just got to the point where she, I guess, felt uncomfortable. I don't know if she felt truly in danger. I don't recall. But I'll send you the material.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
I really don't want you to release it if I send it to you.
Oh, I won't.
I could have released this long ago, but it's really personal.
It is, yeah.
I just don't know that we need to air all of that out into the public. I mean, people can order it if they want and do their own thing, but
yeah,
I personally I think that's crossing the line of what we really should be doing.
I agree. It's kind of like talking too much about Teresa's, personal life. I feel like
I agree.
It's too personal, and I don't want to expose anything that she might not have wanted exposed out of respect.
Well, if it's irrelevant to the case, I totally agree.
Exactly. If it's irrelevant, I don't think that their issues were irrelevant completely. If it shows that he was a stalker type or violent type or anything like that, but like I said, from what I found out, that he was not at all. He was he wanted to settle down. He wanted to be serious. He wanted Teresa to be in a serious relationship with him, and she didn't want to, and he was okay with that. So they stayed friends, and they kind of dated here and there. But other than that, everything I heard was that he was a really great guy. I never heard a bad thing about him, and I looked everywhere.
You're going to find out a different side.
Yeah.
I didn't really find out he was necessarily a great guy, but I didn't expect to find out what is in this material at all.
Yeah. Sounds interesting. Yeah, so two sides to every story. And yep. I didn't hear any of this from Bradley himself. It was all from mutual friends of both of them.
Sure.
So I thought, well, maybe, they'd be unbiased, but then I guess, they probably did choose sides with whoever they thought was.
Well, there's two sides in interpretation. Maybe there's things they just didn't know.
I'm sure there are. Yeah. I'm sure there are. So from what they know, from what they saw, Bradley was a great guy. And I knew that doesn't mean that he wasn't, doing some other stuff too. But from what they knew, Okay, so Hugh Fraser said, interestingly, he had a twin. The Michael Vanden Heuvel, whatever, had a twin that preceded him in death not long before the end of 2005. That'd be quite a stressor. That's interesting. Yeah, Random Pieces says there's a public face and a private one that usually the spouse is only one that sees it. That is so true. 100%. My ex-husband was very much like that. Everybody thought he was a great guy, a good guy, but I was the only one that saw that he was not. And so it was a little bit hard for some people at first to believe that he was doing the things that he was doing until they saw it themselves. And yeah, no doubt. It's a little hard to accept, especially when it's, their own family that doesn't know how they are with their spouse or partner in private. You think you know, and you should assume that you don't know. Oh gosh, well I don't even know where to go now. Oh, thank you, Jack.
Yep.
Anybody have anything that they? What's
There's
that?
30. There's 30 files in there.
Sweet. Well, that'll keep me busy.
Yeah, some of them are several pages long. I think there's 30, something like that.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I won't release them. I will leave them right there where they are. I won't even save them. I don't think. Well, I might save them just to
Well,
read over
you'll have
again,
the-
but
You'll have the link, so.
yeah, it'll be
Okay,
there.
Casey, I mean, you know, I wondered for a long time where's the photo of Casey. I mean, she's pretty, and I mean,
Yeah.
But you know, you know, even with this, you can't. We're grabbing moments in time, so you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure the truth lies somewhere there in the middle.
Usually.
Yeah.
Oh, Random says same here, and my family chose him because I was crazy. Yeah. Well, my family didn't choose him. They knew. I think my family knew that I'm not a liar. So if I say something happened, it happened. And, you know, the last thing I want to do is say somebody did something really terrible and it not be true. Like, I just would never do that. Oh, it's okay, Random. Sorry. Some things are triggers. Yeah.
No doubt. Well, you know, we're getting back to that call you just played, and you know, this Jacob's call. You know, there's, you know, while you were away, I'm not sure if I've told you this, or maybe you kind of learned it on your own, but last year in late February, Rookie was able to get these. You know about the CDs, right or no? From Manitowoc. Yes, sir. I'm not sure if you're aware.
No.
Okay, so back in the fall of 2019, I think that's right. Anyway, I think that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Rookie was able to get 13 CDs from Larry Ledvina. He was the records custodian that had been there for decades.
Mm-hmm.
13. Well, anyway, I'm not exactly sure how Rookie was able to find out that he knew that there were more CDs. There were actually 35, and I truly believe there's probably 36 or 37. But anyway, so this new Larry Ledvina retired at the end of 2021, and Major Todd Cummings, he's been there for a long time as well. He took over as records custodian. Now, you know, ultimately the sheriff is the custodian, but typically they assign someone to do the work for them, which is Todd Cummings. Anyway, he took over, and Rookie re-requested these CDs again. Well, within 2 weeks, all of a sudden, Major Todd Cummings finds 23 more CDs, DVDs.
Oh. Mm.
Yeah. So those got requested, and everything. Well, I say everything. We got a lot of calls, hundreds of calls, and a lot more radio traffic. Of course, we still don't have anything for November 4th, 2005 for Manitowoc, but there's a lot more calls, and there are calls that are actually dated and time-stamped, which is really just as important.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I love
we
that.
We got those. They're in the playlist in Foul Play. They've all been, of course, it's a pain in the ass. Each one's got to be turned into a video, because you can't just upload an audio file to YouTube. They won't allow you. You
Yeah.
gotta turn it into a video. So anyway, all those have been uploaded, and I wasn't sure if you were aware of that or not. Hundreds and hundreds of calls.
Yeah, I did see like your playlists and stuff, and I was,
Yeah.
I'm still in. Whoa! Scared the shit out of me. Sorry, y'all. Whoa! Oh, her's upset. Can I mute? Oh!
Sure.
Damn! She hit the fucking desk. Sorry, y'all. Let me mute while she's barking.
I heard her barking. She must have heard also something about a raccoon.
Hush your mouth. Oh, hush. 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 I don't know what the hell she's hearing something out there. What is it, baby? Don't bark no more. You don't have to bark. It's a good girl. Good girl. Good girl protecting the house and protecting mama. It's my girl. That's my girl. That's my good girl. This is a good girl. Oh, I'm still, let's see, where am I at? I am in the Avery Calls March. The March jail calls. So I'm still way early. You know. I'm probably, let's see, where am I at in that list? I'm at call 671. So there's probably a million calls I missed, but I started with this list right here. So
Yeah, I think there's roughly 1,500 Avery jail calls, roughly.
okay.
Yeah, 1,500, something like that.
Stop
And I
it.
gotta hand it to her. Boy, everyone was married to a video. She did that by herself. I told her she was crazy. Zoe did it.
Oh, I don't think I've ever met Zoe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really don't think I've ever met Zoe at all.
She's the boss of Foul Play. She's top dog.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I've seen her a couple times, but I don't think I've actually met her.
Yeah, she's from Slovenia, so of course, so the time difference really
Oh,
prevents her from joining us too much on any lives, because by the time we get started, she's in bed.
mm-hmm.
Her and her job. I mean, come on, you have to work, really, Zoe? Seriously.
God, work.
Yeah. You know. Yeah. So there's, I think, roughly 1,500 Avery jail calls, and
Goodness.
there's, and we didn't publish them. You can find them elsewhere, but there's roughly 400 Brendan jail calls.
I'll be listening to
A lot of
those eventually.
Yeah, those are short. A lot of them are short hang-ups and so forth. But there are a lot of calls, you know, to Barb and Travis and various people. And then, then you can move into the radio, the telephone, the dispatch calls, and the radio transmissions.
Yeah, right. I saw all the lists on Foul Play. I'm like, God, that's a lot of calls. That's a lot of everything.
Huge
So
amount of work.
yeah, so much. You
Yeah.
guys have got a lot of stuff.
And I still haven't really started much on fixing. Maybe tonight on the recent Jody calls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
once I
that.
Yeah, I mean, once I get going, it's not too bad.
Mm.
Got to do a few things and do the conversion.
Do you know when
Uh,
you might go live again with the next calls?
Well, there's 4 left of the new calls. There's only 4 left, and I probably will. I'll probably do that tomorrow
Okay.
because we got we got more new information. It's not. This is about the Colburn v. Netflix case. I don't know if you saw that Brenda Shooter had released 3 files.
Oh, no, Becca was telling me about that
Yeah.
she did that, but she didn't know what it was. What do you
Yeah,
know what it is?
Oh yeah, it's part of his deposition.
Oh,
We've got. I mean, in the Colburn v. Netflix trial, he was deposed over 2 days back in July of last year, and we've got pieces. We got excerpts of those, but we don't have the full picture. But there's also a question and answer session that Colburn gives these replies and talking about the bookcase and some various things that it's really questionable what he's, because again, he's what do you call it? He's kind of adding to the story.
embellishing.
Embellishing, that's the word
Yeah.
I'm looking for. He's embellishing it again.
Mhm.
And so I think we'll probably play those 4 calls and then start going through this list of things that got released. It's
Sweet.
pretty interesting. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll
That sounds.
probably do that tomorrow evening.
Would have been nice to see the questions. Random Pieces said.
It would have been great to have seen the questions. I totally agree. I saw that right off the bat.
I don't. So it's just his answers, not the questions.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, how the hell are you supposed to know what he's answering?
Well, I mean, you can get the gist of it, but it would be nice to hear the context of the full context of the question, because context is everything. to me.
Exactly. So, is it like a transcript, or is it video,
Yeah,
or
yeah. No, it's like a transcript. You just got reply after reply. It's got a marker, kind of identifying where this is, I guess, in this question answer session. But basically, it's the answers that we're looking at. But we don't have access to what the question is, and I don't really understand that. I just don't get it.
context? I have a feeling that was not an accident.
I agree with you.
So I don't know. I keep thinking, hey, Brenda, if what you've got that we don't have has somehow made the difference for you, why are you not sharing it with us? You would think that that'd be exactly what she wants to do, is show us.
Because it didn't make the difference. That's
No.
the exact reason they're not sharing.
That's what it has to be. I mean, or there's something that doesn't look real good for their position, right? So they're not going to share that with us.
Things have been obtained that weren't necessarily illegal, but they weren't obtained necessarily by legal means. In other words, somebody gave her access to material that wasn't obtained through FOIA that we've been denied access to.
Right.
And I've thought about that. I don't know that, but I certainly suspect it. I can't prove it, and I'm not making any accusations. I'm just saying there has to be a reason, as you said, for not releasing this information.
Right. And I don't like it. So I don't trust this. So that's one of the reasons why I'd like to talk to her. I want to ask her why she won't release whatever she's got. Any information, what's going to happen. We're going to devour it. We're going to... Hey! Who are you talking to? Hush your mouth. We're going to devour it. We're going to go over it. We're going to talk about it. And if there's anything in there that doesn't look very good for Stephen or Brendan, we're going to have to consider these things. So I just have to think that there's nothing there. That the only thing that's there is probably stuff that's not looking great for their position. And I don't like that, if you can't share it with everybody, then you're hiding something. That's how I feel about it. Like, you're hiding something. And if you don't have a good reason like you do,